Chess.com Crazyhouse Championship. I'm Grandmaster Benjamin Bach, and it is my pleasure to be joined here by Grandmaster Yasser Seirawan. Yasser, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be with you, Benjamin, as always.
Yep, we're going to have a fun show ahead of us today, because like I said, it's going to be the Crazyhouse Championship, Yasser. So Yasser, let's talk a little bit about Crazyhouse. What is this variant?
Well, I've always thought of it as one-person bug house, if you will. The idea is whenever you capture pawns or pieces of your opponent, they become yours. They become part of your army. You can't put a pawn on the 8th rank, of course, but you can put a piece or a pawn down with checkmate.
Absolutely. Yeah, here we see a regular chess with dynamic twist. When you capture a piece, it's part of your army. Capture piece can be placed anywhere on the board, and they can be placed with check or checkmate, so it's a very aggressive variant, and every capture changes the game instantly. So very exciting. And Yasser, let's also talk a little bit about the format that we have here today. It's a double elimination bracket. Also, all matches consist of 4 games. First player to 2.5 points wins. And we have a time control, Yasser, of 3 minutes with no bonus. So you might see some flagging.
Yeah, very, very, very fast. These games will go quickly.
Yes, this will go very fast. All right, Yasser, and we have some amazing players that made it to this championship. Let's have a quick look at the bracket, and let's zoom in. As we see here at the top of the bracket, Yasser, we have Nhat Minh, also known as Dragon B70. I think that's going to be our favorite of today. He's an IM. He's going to be playing Vladislav and FM. We also have Mart Plotkin, an IM. We have Guillermo Vasquez, our only GM of the day. So, Yasser, looking at this bracket, what stands out to you?
Really, apologies. I'm not really familiar with the players, but I played in the qualifier yesterday, and it is really, really tough. These guys are good, but they're also very fast. I'm good. I'm just not very fast. And their combination of speed and accuracy, and the thing about Crazyhouse, much more than regular chess, is draws are exceptionally rare. They do occur, but they're very, very rare. And the initiative is absolutely huge. Many times it happens in Crazyhouse that you have this massive army ready to come on the board, but you never get a chance to place any of your pieces or pawns because your king is constantly being checked. So the initiative in Crazyhouse, it can be worth a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll definitely see that play out today. And Yasser, I also wanted to ask you, these days there are also Crazyhouse engines. Do you think the players use the engines to prepare for today's tournament?
Oh, absolutely. The practice with the engine for Crazyhouse is required. One of the things that the really good variants players, and for example, Crazyhouse being one of them, is your openings have to be incredibly accurate. There are some openings in Crazyhouse that are simply unplayable. You cannot do them. That you will lose playing in these ways. So, for example, Sicilians are just bad. Like all Sicilians are just bad. You just don't even go there because you just think of yourself on the black side of a Sicilian, and always white is attacking, right? White is always attacking. And, eventually you diffuse the attack, and then it's your turn. Well, in Crazyhouse, you may never get that turn. The guy's just attacking, and you're defending like crazy. So there are a lot of openings that are unplayable. That's one of them. I don't think Karo Khan is a very good opening either. You weaken the c7 square too much, and it's obvious white can go bishop f4 and place something on c7, and you're crying.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, you made a very good point that the attack is what matters most in Crazyhouse, because in a normal game of chess, your opponent might just run out of attacking pieces, but in Crazyhouse, they can take one of your pieces, it becomes their own, and they can place it on the board.
Absolutely.
But
That's that's the problem.
Yeah,
And
yeah, really.
it's
Mhm.
a very, very special skill, and also where the engines are really, really good is, I give you this position in chess, and it's like a study, and you can find the answer. But I give you this position in Crazy House, and you've got pieces and pawns, and now you've got to decide where's the weakness, where's the square on the board that you need to control, and it's like the tactical awareness, the tactical possibilities are really astronomically high. So, in chess, the studies, I don't want to say are easily solvable, but you don't have this other dynamic of just placing pieces. And
Mhm.
that's really, really and amazing. The engine comes up with extraordinary patterns, extraordinary tactical patterns, and you look at them, you go, "Oh, that's really good. That's like
Yeah.
incredibly good." Defensively, it's not all one-way traffic. Defensively, some players are incredibly good at finding a move that defends a square and also attacks. And I think that's just really, really great. I think we're underway, Ben.
Yep, we're on the way. We have Little Plotkin. I am from Canada against Crazy 8. Crazy 8, really a specialist in Crazy House. And Yasser, we see this opening starting off with e4, e5. Is
Yep.
that an opening that you would say is good for Crazy House, or what are good openings?
That is a very, very good opening. E4, E5 is, in fact, I think the single best opening for both players. And you often get not exactly a Rui Lopez with what you're seeing now, but you often get uh, now I can't think of Joko Piano. Sorry,
Uh-huh.
with Bishop C4, and you're going after F7. You notice on that last move, by the way, and it's a very important one, was the knight dropped in on C6 and didn't take the rook, but instead the knight dropped in C6 and took a bishop on E7, which was much better because you're getting what you have right now, which is this initiative on the king side. And the bishop on E7 was a really good defending piece, whereas that rook is like, yeah, go ahead, you can have it. I'm going to go and attack. So he's won a rook. Now, the problem is for black, it's not intuitively obvious. Yeah, I didn't see any way for black to continue his attack. Now he's got nothing. Knight d5 is a very, very good move. Even though white's an exchange up,
I think he's
uh,
up a rook
a rook, sorry.
because he
It's
took the
actually
rook and
this,
b8 for free.
yeah, but it's like this bishop on c2, you put the bishop on f5, it's great. But the bishop on c2, you would say it's so out of the game. But at the moment, black has no um, mm, attack. I was going to say queen takes f3 a moment ago. Queen takes f3, probably g takes f3, knight g5 was the way for black to continue. Uh, you're losing, but hey, and this is a brilliant queen sacrifice, by the way. Just, fabulous stuff. He should have probably recaptured with a bishop on d1. Not necessarily to prevent knight h5, which it would have done, but yeah, just to play bishop to g4. He's now played bishop to f5. Now knight takes g3. Suddenly black's getting a little bit of something. You're threatening mate on h1 after knight takes g3.
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah, that's
it's
a
getting
very
interesting.
tricky checkmate.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, that was a
mhm.
very good defensive move, bishop h2. Black was beginning to make some rage. That wasn't very good. Bishop f5 just invites knight f. Well, pawn takes is also a tempo on the queen, but I thought knight takes, threatening moves like rook takes g7 and bishop takes. Uh,
Yep.
e5. Okay, so very good. Now you see the power of the initiative, and like Black basically was forced to go for this. I'm not going to call it a checkmating attack because it's clearly not checkmate. I think Black is just running out of resources, but he had to do something because White was ready to go kill him.
Hmm. Absolutely, yeah. And what's really instructive to me, Yasser, is how comfortable they are giving up their queen just like that.
Exactly.
That the initiative really is everything. I understand them giving up a queen for a minor piece and a rook or two minor pieces. I think that's a no-brainer in Crazy House,
Right.
but just like that.
Yeah.
And we see Plotkin taking the first win of the match because I think it was forced checkmate. If you
Yes. Yeah.
if you
That was a
take,
kill at the end.
you put a
Pawn
bishop on
G6
G6.
and pawn H7. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so nice win for him there.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see what else is going on. Do you want to stay on this match, or is there
Yeah.
another match that's going
Take us
on?
around the horn and see where else, what other games are going on. And by the way, big shout out to our audience. Thank you for joining Benjamin and I. We love to share our insights into chess and variants, and you might just call us fanboys. We're not only good chess players, but we really enjoy good chess played by others.
Absolutely, and yeah, I just wanted to watch our favorite Dragon B70, but he has already won his first game. It's going to be interesting to see whether anyone can stop him today because he's been winning all of these variants championships, and not only that, in some of them he actually won all of his games.
Wow. Bravo. Very, very, very impressive. So, uh, especially Crazy House is a variant that y- it's very, very hard to win all your games. Winning, yeah, but normally speaking, it's so easy to mess up that you don't win all the games. You win 10, 12, whatever. But suddenly you're winning all the games. That's very, very hard to do. And here we see, I don't know exactly what White has in his hand, but he's going to drop a knight in on f6. And this starts to get a little bit scary. I don't know. Yeah, he's threatening knight g5 and mate. So that was required. But now, how do we do this? How would we do this?
Good question. Do we perhaps drop the knight on g5, force black to take, and then try to drop the rook on g7? But he goes pawn, and there's he g2. And to your point, going for the initiative, forcing white to defend.
Yeah, but it's not only that, but you're forcing White to use the material, right? Which is to say,
Oh,
I don't think that this is
oh,
very good.
Rename,
No,
if
now he's
black does
lost.
not,
Now
I
he's
was going to say,
lost.
if black does not checkmate, I think black had checkmate on the board with queen f2, but he ran out of time. Uh, it's so, like, normal time scrambles are already really difficult, but in Crazy House, it's even harder because sometimes you have to pick a piece from the side of the
Yes,
board and put it on there. So it's
yes.
really hard to make it work.
Yes, and that what you just said is precisely the case. So if you're playing regular bullet, your moves are with the pieces and pawns that are on the board. With Crazy House, you might have your opponent's king in a check. Like, okay, check, great. Now the king has to go in one of two directions. If it goes to f1, it's a rook mate. If it goes to h1, it's a bishop mate. So literally, you have 1 second on your clock, and you need to grab one of two different pieces, and you don't know what it is. So sometimes it's very easy to lose on time while you're reaching for a piece that's off the board. Yeah. Uh, the current position, as I see it, White has a huge initiative. Yeah, that was a very good move by Black, knight to g5, because this bishop on h3 was really making it very, very difficult for the Black player here. Now, here, White has allowed a pawn to drop to g2. Aha, black did not do that. He's done this on h7 instead. So
Mhm.
um,
Right, so we see that king coming out of f7 and pawn g6 check. Once again, the players constantly fighting for the initiative. Queen g4. There's not a very
exactly.
comfortable way for black to block here. And maybe he wants to take on e6 and then drop another pawn on f5.
Yeah, something like knight on h3 to g5, blocking the check, defending the pawn on e6, but in some ways also threatening to maybe invade on f3. So if knight h3 to g5, and then if you have a knight in the hand, you could put it on f3 with a check, and it's supported by the knight. This, in Crazyhouse, it's nice to have material to put on the board, but like I said, sometimes it happens that you have a lot of pieces to be put on the board, but you have no timing to do it. And so it's really, really good to get your pieces on the board as quickly as possible. Here, you're pointing out maybe bishop f5 uh, to drop a bishop on f5. That defends g6, very important. Once that rook gets captured, not to allow a pawn to get to g6, but it also attacks the queen. So that was a very good defensive reaction by black. Loved it.
Yeah,
And
great
again,
tempo move.
yeah, white doesn't want to give up his initiative and attack. Now, because black had, pardon me, yes, because white had a rook in hand, it would have been nice to move the king, but that would have allowed the rook to come to f7. So that was why it was necessary to take away the pawn on g6. Now, this is a big moment here. It depends on what black has in hand, but capturing the queen and then capturing on h8 with the rook, I would like to do that as black because the king is pretty safe on f7. It's got a lot of defenders, a good pawn shield, bishop on f5. And that bishop on f5, you know, makes it hard for white to castle long. And okay, didn't happen. He took the rook, and maybe this will work out. Yeah, bishop h5, pawn to g. Oh, I was about to say, you probably have to drop a bishop on g6 to avoid this. This should be a kill. There should be knight. Ooh, he had so many knights. Oh my
He
goodness.
has a lot of knights.
Yeah.
All right, I
And that
assume king.
position, by the way, knight on h3 takes f4 was a huge mistake. Huge mistake. He should have played knight on g2 takes f4. That way, the knight could be capturing on f2 in case of king d1. And in case of king f1, then you could put a pawn on g2 and it would be mate. So black was absolutely winning the game, but he erred with this wrong recapture. So the knight on g2 is actually kind of dead. It's not doing any harm to anybody at the moment. And in fact, you would love to put a pawn on g2. So that was a real error by black. Now white, I was about to say, unless you have a knight, no, this is not working out for black very well. Put a pawn on c4, blocking, or a
Mhm.
bishop. Yeah,
Yeah.
now white's got ideas of maybe bishop takes e6 check. Yeah, you're pointing out the nice one there. Okay. Well,
Oh, but
uh,
look at the clock, Yasser. White has 14 seconds and black 8. It's coming down to a time scramble again. So let's see
exactly.
who's the faster player here. I would take that queen, because then you
Yeah,
always have ideas of checkmate in one or two
yeah.
moves.
92 mate.
Oh,
Nice.
all right. And PKNM wins another game, takes a 2-0 lead. So now Vasquez is in a double must-win situation.
Right. Again, for those joining us late, we're playing 4 game matches. The first to 2.5 points wins the match. And in case of a tiebreak, in case of 2-2, they're going to play sudden death, bullet. Crazy
Just
house bullet.
1 minute or 1+1? What is the time control for that one?
1 minute. 1 minute only.
Wow.
Ooh. By the way, these types of situations, you desperately want to put a pawn on f2 with a check and a knight on e4 and draw that king out into the open. That's like one of the most standard attacking themes in Crazy House is capturing on f2, putting a knight on g4 or where have you. e5. Okay, interesting move. That is an invitation to pawn to e7.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think the arrows we saw on the board were the arrows that Dragon B70 was pointing out. So E7, nice move by him there. If
Yeah.
Black really wants the initiative, there's Queen on F2, but I think that's too much, Yasser, because you take
Yeah.
F94, but I don't think you get enough. Like, what does White do there? Does White go back to E1 or G1, or do they march up to E3?
I think both actually are safe. Marching back to retreating to e1 is fine because there's no diagonal to land on f2. But you're right. I think queen f2 is just asking too much, and he's sacrificed. But basically, now you have moves like queen h4 or bishop h4 check. Pardon me, for white. So the reason I love the move bishop h4 check is because you're covering the threat while simultaneously attacking the king. So that's like a very good offensive move, but it's a very good defensive move as well. Now, in this case, again, White's made a very good move, bishop c5 check. That covers f2, right? Which was very,
Mhm.
very clever of White. Yeah, this is very, very nice play by White now. White's king is absolutely massively safe. And at the same time, you've got threats of pawn to h6. Bishop takes g7 is in the air. Yep, there you go. Pawn to h6. Very well played.
I would think now pawn h6, and there he goes. And I think Black is simply getting checkmated, and if not, he's simply going to flag. Is there already a mate if
Take
a
a
knight
rook.
lands on these?
Take a rook. Just
Oh,
be boring.
yeah. Rook trying to drop it on h8, and that looks too much to handle for Black, but it's got to speed up. It's going to come down to a time scramble. We'll
Oh,
just take
there
that.
goes a rook. Yeah, that was a good
Oh,
move on a d2 because
ooh. Oh, wait,
essentially
rook f1.
you just have to play as fast as you can and just try to. Oh, that's mate. Yeah, nice game by White.
Yeah, and I think Dragon B70 is one of our first players to move on to the winners semifinals. Not
Right.
a big surprise there. He's an absolute beast, absolute dragon in the variants. But I'm seeing that I think this match right here between Plotkin and Crazy 8 is close, as it's 2-1, and so Plotkin is in a must-win situation.
hmm at the moment, Black's last move, e3, that looks like seriously some kind of a killer shot. There's queen. Yeah, because the king is just going to have to walk like bishop to e3.
But he doesn't have a bishop.
That's a problem.
Right. You'd love to drop one there. You can go
Oh,
for
I'd
the uh, C2.
love
Wow.
to drop. Okay, so one of the things there is if you don't take the pawn, you have to be mindful that you can get checked by like a knight on b1. Like,
Ooh,
yeah,
and
there
here
you
he goes.
go. Just, yeah, now you under promote to a knight. Yeah, that was it. And now you can trade queens comfortably.
Or rook at e1 also looks tempting. He trades queens.
No,
Has
this
to
is
be a
a force
checkmate
move.
here.
Yeah, you put a rook on c1.
Oh,
What?
queen
Oh, there's a
c1, knight
knight.
c2.
Oh, perfect.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. Nice smothered mate there. Smothered mating patterns occur so often, much more often in Crazyhouse than regular chess.
Hmm. Yes, and I believe now the players are going to overtime. I see Crazy8 in the chat saying, okay, now what? I think the answer is overtime. 1 minute. Um,
Per player.
and yeah, so that's going to be exciting. I think, okay, so this match going to overtime. Let's
So
see, we
it's a
also have,
death match by bullet chess.
yes.
I'll take a bullet.
And then we also still have this match here between Jenna and PKNM. Jenna, also known as Vasquez, our only grandmaster off the field. But he is down 2-0, so he has to win 2 games in a row.
Yeah, that's yeah, winning on demand, whether it's regular chess or variant, is the hardest thing to do. But boy, when it does happen, you feel great.
Yes.
I heartily recommend winning on demand. It's just a
Hmm.
wonderful feeling when it happens. That was a very nice move by White a moment ago. I like Knight E5 a lot. This pin, and it's not really a pin, but just this buildup by Black on the diagonal is really annoying to begin with. And Knight E5 uh, really, you're starting an attack, and you really hope that Black will trade on E5. You take with the pawn, and then you try to push the knight on F6 away, and you go for something like what we've got right now on the board. Now here, I would be tempted by, yeah, I was going to say, I'd be tempted by a bishop, maybe even to C5 on that last turn. I like forcing my opponent to drop material. Now here, if I'm Black, I'm really looking at knight takes D4, sacrificing a knight just to get something going. That's too defensive to my reckoning. That move Rook C8. I understand why he made the move, but it's a little bit too. How do I put it? It's too passive,
Slow. Too passive, too
slow.
slow.
Yeah, and here I put a pawn. Ooh, I was about to say I put a pawn on G5 so that I can. Here I put a pawn on F6. It's very important to play moves like F6 and Bishop F4 check so that you can play Queen H5. Whoops. So I think White missed an opportunity to play F6 there. I think White
Yeah,
is still winning, by the way.
uh-huh. Yeah, I
You
was really
play G
surprised by pawn g4. Yeah, I thought g5 and f6 were the squares to drop those pawns.
precisely. That's exactly right. Yeah. Here, White's kind of gummied things up a little bit. Um, I would probably take the queen now. Knight takes f7 and knight g6 check. Take the queen.
Hmm.
Okay, this was a very good move. Rook takes c6, a very, very good move. And here I'd probably be tempted to castle short. Yeah, there you
Uh-huh.
go. So, like, chill. Go ahead, come after my king. Look at how many defensive pieces. Now, all I need to do as white is put a pawn on f6, and life is really good. Here, I think I can take on f7 happily with
Right,
the knight.
and he goes for it. And it's
Yeah,
really interesting, Yasser, that a couple of moves ago he could have gone knight at g6, won the
yeah,
queen, but I guess he was too worried about his own king. That f-file opens up, Black could have maybe dropped the rook on c1, whereas his king on
precisely.
g1 is perfectly safe. Yes, you can drop on the
Really.
pawn, but there's no, all of these squares are covered. You cannot really get close to that white king. I think White's
Yeah.
got this one. I mean, it feels like he's also, by the way, half a minute on the clock.
And by the way, this last move, knight h5, is absolutely a killer move. Yeah, and now you're threatening. There should be a kill with pawn h7, knight g5. Oh, yeah,
Hmm.
he had enough. Knight g5 and queen h7 was mate, but he found a nice mate as well. Nice win there by White, and his castle short was beautifully timed.
Yep, great game by Vasquez. So he, like we said, he was in a double must-win situation. He wins the first game. Now let's see if he can, or is that? Oh, he won both games. So we have another overtime.
Oh
That
my,
game is
fantastic.
going to start shortly. So Yasser, you talked about winning on demand, which
Yeah,
feels really good. How does it feel to win two games on demand?
twice as good, maybe four times as good. It goes up exponentially. I remember in the World Cup ages ago, it was um, Peter Svidler versus Sergei Karyakin, and Peter had like a, I don't know, a 3-0 lead or something ridiculous.
2-0,
He
2-0, yeah.
ended up losing a tiebreak. It was like, and I'm talking classical chess too. I mean, it was really, Peter was just, I think that was a career defining or redefining moment for Peter. And I remember also in the inner zonal in Manila, Nigel Short needs to win as black, needs to win as black against a top grandmaster originally from the Soviet Union, was representing Belgium. Now I'm trying to remember his name. Oh, this is terrible. Shame on
Gurvi?
me. Gurevich. Yes, Gurevich. And Gurevich opened up with 1d4, and Nigel played e6. And Nigel in those days loved to play the Dutch, so his next move was going to be f5. And Gurevich played e4 and played an exchange French. An exchange French. And lost the game as white.
Yeah.
Oh, no. This is, by the way, how you make draws in Bug House. By you put a rook on e8, and the guy puts a rook on d8, and it keeps going like this. And
Hmm.
here we go.
Yeah,
And then you take on e7, and you put a rook on e8, and then you put a pawn on d6.
and the game
Draw.
does end in a draw. I think also White was worried about the time. He was down 5 seconds on the clock. So now they move on to the next bullet game.
Right. And they will, nobody has draw odds or anything like that. They'll just keep playing until we have a winner.
Yep. All right. So that game should be up any second now. But yeah, you make a very good point. Talking about regular chess, even if
Yeah.
you need a draw with the white pieces to move on, don't play too passively because that's a very good recipe for to lose. So I
Correct.
know actually one of my friends, Jose Martinez, he's playing in the World Cup, and today he beat Neuderberg Abdusatorov with the black pieces. So tomorrow, if he draws with white, he moves on to the next round, and
Right.
that is definitely a thing for him to watch out for. But he's a very experienced player, so I'm sure that he knows how to handle the situation.
Yeah. And for those of you, of our audience out there, how do you handle the situation? As white, you need a draw and you're good to go. So you, as you just said, you don't play for the draw, but you're not there to play a very risky. What you're there to do, and this is very, very important, is you're there to play for the advantage. So you're trying to make an advantage as white. You don't necessarily need to risk anything. So you get to a situation where you just play for an advantage. That's a very important mental skill to have. By the way, Black is playing really an excellent game, and immediately play h4. Yes, Black is playing. This game is over. It's busted. h3. Uh, Fantastic game by Black so far.
Yeah, this looks like a disaster for Jenna. I mean, he's facing a devastating attack. Black is having all the material in hand.
Yep.
At some point, something is going to drop, and I feel like
There
we're
you
very
see
close to a
it.
checkmate.
Yeah, think you have to take. Ooh, there
Never mind,
was
Black has a queen in hand. Oh, take, and then where's the
yeah,
mate?
bishop, uh, bishop
Let's go bishop
e.
c5.
What? Whoa. Yeah, bishop c5 is. Oh, that's it. That's a nice one.
Wait,
Uh,
but where's the mate? Oh, and he has a knight in hand. Knight f2 is going to hurt.
yeah,
And king h1, you can but also just take a rook edge e1. That's the easiest.
correct.
But this is a nice Dutch windmill that's gonna hurt, and a win for PKNM who moves on to the next round.
Nice. Well done.
All right, Yasser. So that wraps up this round. So our winners in this round are Dragon B70, no surprises there. Crazy8, Rusty also moves on. We see Nistrom winning over Vasquez in overtime. And we have Isaac Chu moving on as well. So we see Dragon against Crazy8. Big matchup there, although it's going to be tough to stop Dragon. And then we have Nistrom against Isaac Chu.
I mean, Dragon is the pre-tournament favorite to win. Who would be his biggest opposition? Do you know offhand, Ben?
Um, Let
Second
me
favorite.
maybe PKNM. PKNM. He is rated as we saw around 2300 in Crazyhouse, so he's probably the biggest threat to Dragon.
Or not? All right, nice, nice.
Yep. And let's remind everybody, it's double elimination, so the players that lost the first round are not out. As we see,
They'll
there's
go to the bracket below.
but they have a long road ahead. Perhaps we can zoom in real quick. We have Vladislav against Plotkin. We have Vasquez against Giuseppe. So yeah, they can still come back, but they are going to have to win a lot of matches.
Exactly.
All right. So yeah, the next games should be underway in just a minute. It should be pretty exciting, Yasser, as we're getting ready for the next round.
Yeah. Just as we get ready for the next round, did it shock you that Wesley So was eliminated from the World Cup, pardon me, by resigning
Yes.
in a drawn position?
Yeah. It shocked me that the position was a draw, but it also shocked me that he actually resigned. I would think, if you're in the World Cup and, if
Yes.
you extend your hand, the match is over. But you can also just sit there and try to figure it out.
Right.
Like, is there still a way to draw here?
Right. The magic,
No.
precisely. You can resign in an open tournament. Yeah. But because you're in that match situation and the match is over, your head is screaming, your body is repelled. You just like, is there any possibility? It's ridiculous. You exercise your mind. Like, you gotta find some cheapo. And then you look and you go, can that actually work? That's like, well, you can't extend your hand and give up the match. You got to at least try this ridiculous stalemating attempt, and it exists. It's actually really remarkable.
It's
I was
remarkable that there's
surprised.
no win for white. It's incredible.
Truly, truly, it's like, what? I mean, you blew me away. Okay, we are underway.
Mm-hmm. All
Now,
right.
this
So
is
we see
actually a
here,
very
we see
bad
an
line.
exchange French that you were talking about
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah, this is actually a very bad line for white. I don't know
Oh,
why players get attracted to this line as white. So the idea is that your queen on e2, strangely enough, is really vulnerable. Okay, now in this particular, this has worked out okay, even more than okay for white. Where did the extra knight come from? Okay, sorry. So it was knight takes. Okay, black. So I was going to say, normally speaking, in this particular line of the exchange French, the queen is too vulnerable on e2. And I actually like playing the black side. This particular position, I love what white has done. This pawn on h6 is really a monster. Normally, what you have to do as black now is play an unfortunate move, rook g8. Not a very, very pleasant move, but things have gone wrong already for black, and you gotta face some music on the king side.
Yes.
Okay. Bishop h6 is fine, but there was an infestation that was happening there that wasn't very, very good. A dark square infestation. Now let's see, what does white has a couple of pawns. So if you play a move like knight g8, it looks ugly. But the idea is that what white wants to do is put a pawn on g5, followed by putting a pawn on f6. And if you go knight g8 and force white to, that doesn't help. That defends the light squares, but here we go. So a move like, if you wanted to play bishop e8, you should have started with bishop h5, by the way, not this one.
Mhm.
Okay, white is thinking of dropping a bishop on f6. Oops, I take that back. Make it bishop to e5. Okay,
And
this is
black
very
going for the
helpful.
counter. Yeah, black going for the counterattack with f3, which I think is generally the right approach. You don't want to sit back and defend, but now ooh, rook h8 looks really dangerous. And let's see if white
I
can at
think
some
it's just
point.
winning, actually. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's just winning. Uh, no chances here for black.
The white's king is still pretty safe, whereas the black king is getting swarmed by the rook and the bishop, and white can also still drop a couple pawns, and there he goes with f6.
Yeah, this looks easy. You're taking on a g7 with the bishop, and then landing a knight on e5 with the bishop.
Yeah.
You take on with the bishops, so that king e7 isn't allowed. If you take him with the bishop, you'd have to go king e8, and then you could take on g8 with forced mate. So some work. White gave himself some unnecessary efforts. Bishop g5
G8
check.
knight. By the way, also know that black has 4 seconds, so this is looking really tough.
4 seconds.
Four
Oh boy.
seconds, yes.
Yeah, I
So,
would have taken on f3 there. Yeah, yeah.
all right, and
White
we
won on
see.
time. Yeah.
Yep. Yes, a very convincing win there by Little Plotkin in the first round of the losers bracket. Let's check in here as we have Dragon. Oh, but Dragon are pre-tournament favorite, yeah. So this looks, at least to me, kind of dangerous.
Oh, for sure. Whenever the king's floating around the third or fourth ranks, you're hanging on for dear life. But the thing is, does black have material? He does. He's got some material in hand. This is dangerous. This could easily work out in black's favor here.
But
But
Yasser,
now
he
the
has the
question,
material, but he has no time. He has 13 seconds against a minute for Dragon.
oh, that's too little. Um, f5 was a decent move. The idea is you want to meet bishop takes g7 with rook takes h3 to
Hmm.
trying to draw out the king. And there, oh well, it's black is doing a pretty decent job with no time on his clock of getting some kind of an initiative. Ooh, that was not a good move. Knight to h4 check, followed by knight takes h4, queen takes h4 is getting interesting. This move, knight g5, was a little bit, yeah,
Yeah, but 6 seconds, that's really not enough time. He's pre-moving now,
yeah,
but if Dragon avoids getting checkmated, Oh, but wait, Dragon now has 15 seconds. It's coming down to a time scramble. Yes, sir. This is super
Oh
close.
boy. Uh,
Gotta move.
I'm expecting rook to g8 check.
But he doesn't have a rook. Wait,
He doesn't have.
Black
Oh,
just
pardon me. White has a
they're just
rook.
randomly throwing. At some point, rook g8 is gonna be huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just spam checks, and you're gonna. Yeah, he's gonna time. I think Black is gonna get it done. What?
Black won
Oh,
that
look at that.
time.
Yes, sir.
I mean, at the very end there, Black was playing pre-moves checks, and he. I mean, that's a very people may feel very bad. That's poor form. No, 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 no. It's an incredible skill that people have of like pre-moving a check that's unexpected. So
Mhm.
I mean I don't begrudge my opponent for winning by flagging me. I think that that's absolutely a part of the game.
Yeah.
100%.
No, it was. I
Um,
think that's a common trap to fall into, where maybe on the board you're struggling, but you have a big advantage on time. And you're thinking, okay, if I just figure this out, I'm gonna win the game, and then you end up taking too long, and then you end up losing on time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's but here I think white is in big trouble. No. Knight takes g2 check followed by knight h4 would have asked white what he's doing. Knight takes e6 uh, gave up the initiative, and now
Right.
white is hoping that the c7 square knight takes d5, knight takes d5, pawn takes b5. No, black decided that he couldn't afford that. But now you start taking knights, capture on f6, and let's go.
And so he forces the queen trade. Now, by the way, we see Dragon pointing out. Um, okay, if we see, by the way, the black dots on the board are Dragon's
Analysis.
circles, if you will, his analysis. He would love to drop a bishop on h5, like you said earlier, giving a check, covering that f7 square. He's considering, I believe, queen at d4, perhaps. Maybe bishop takes e6. But
Mm-hmm.
Crazy8 has a lot of material in hand. He's also, by the way, up almost a minute on the clock. So Dragon, our pre-tournament favorite, could potentially be in some trouble here.
Well, absolutely. First of all, white threatening mate in two, queen f7 check, followed by pawn at c7. So that's why Dragon is thinking, how should I defend the pawn, the square f7? He decided to take on e6 and allow this knight check. This is over. This is just a winning attack for white after knight takes e6. Um,
This looks
I,
crushing. You have a queen g4, nice counter check, getting rid of the knight, I believe.
well, you go bishop to e2. So you take a
Okay.
bishop that's really off sides. Then you take the knight. Then you take black's knight on f6, and you're threatening knight g5 check. And you can cover up your king nicely with pawns on d3 and e3, and your king will be cocooned. But it's very important to use the pieces on the board as well. So
Mhm.
he didn't play bishop e2. He instead chose to play queen f3. That's okay. It's not bad. I I I I, I appreciate. uh, the problem is that if he had used his bishop on e2, he could meet this frontal check with pawn on d3. Now there's, you can put a pawn on e2, and maybe it's a little bit disruptive. I think it's okay though. Again, knight g5 check is a huge threat by white. Huge.
Right. Also, f takes g7. He's having two threats of check. And as you said
Right.
before, the initiative is everything in this game. I don't see how Dragon can get an attack going. I don't see how he can stop White's attack, and he's got 15 seconds on his clock. So I think this one is gonna be all crazy eights.
Well, you just saw the move pawn to g7, and that's indication enough he didn't have a defense, because now you're right. You take on G7 with check, you drop a knight on F5. Oh, he's played King H, King E7. This looks like a rook to me. You just take the rook and you say thank you very much. Now you're dropping a pawn on F6 with check, and you're dropping a rook on or actually you could even, yeah, I was about to say you could even drop a rook on the 8th rank.
Yep. So let's see, 11 seconds for Dragon. This should be a win for Crazy8. See how
Yeah.
he will try to finish it off.
Here, I love the move bishop E7, which was check. You would force the trade of the bishop on B4, and then you could, yeah, just to avoid that move. But this was good.
If
White has played a great game. This is just, you take on B4, and it's made on E7, or you take on A5. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if Crazy8 doesn't blunder checkmate in the next couple of moves, he's gonna win because Black just lost on time. So a 2-0 lead for Crazy8. Yeah, he's also a
Wow.
specialist, so a Dragon
Impressive
really in
play.
trouble here.
Yeah, that I don't say there was a defense, but the move pawn H6, if that's the best, then it's over. It was just like there was no defense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so and there's one match that is already over. Vashquez won 3-0 in the losers bracket, so he moves on
Wow.
to round number 2. And we see that PKNM, the match we have in front of us right now, is currently all tied up 1-1. But this one is
Mhm.
looking really good for No Chewy Candy, Isaac, to take a lead. I'd say specifically because he has a 1-minute lead on the clock.
Yeah, this is a light square infestation here. White is just dead busted. Uh, these fianchettos, when they go wrong, there's
They
just
really go wrong.
no there's no there's no escape. It's just like uh yeah, and I'm thinking that Black should just take on F3, take on D4 or E5, and then just keep dropping pawns on H3. Yeah, this is very, very good play. You take on G2 if something drops there, and you just win control of all of these light squares, and it's like it's incurable.
Yes, yes. So
It's like
white
there's an
runs, but now
outbreak.
bishop D3 looks
Very
rook
nice.
2, queen
By the way,
H1,
in these,
and G2. This looks tough.
yeah, it's done. It's done.
You take on C1. I mean, everything is coming with checking. Crazyhouse, if you're attacking, it's so much fun because you take one of your opponent's pieces and I can drop something else again. You know, in Buckhouse, you
Right.
run out of pieces that you can drop, but you take something of your
Yeah.
opponent, something again.
Yeah. Nice game. But they're white. It's okay to fianchetto. Nothing's wrong with the fianchetto, but white also combined that with the move E4.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't good.
Because
That
then
was
you
not
weaken
good.
F3 as well. Is that the problem?
Yes, precisely. Okay, now this one's very, very double-edged because something might drop on C8.
Mm-hmm. Black's gonna block, I assume, with or maybe even run with King E7.
Well, King E7 has the problem that we take on H8,
And if I
and
recapture,
then we drop the rook. Ooh, he had a knight in hand as well. Okay, so definitely King E7 would have been met by Knight C6. Uh, now, this is very strange that he put a knight on E5 because essentially, when you take on F2, you actually would like to run away from the king side. You would like to go king to D2 and king to C1. And in fact, you might have just started with king to D2 and king to C1. You're on the wrong side of the board, buddy. This
that's what I
this
thought.
king this king is not good. What was that?
Oh, he wants knight at e3, clearing of the e3 square. But I was
Nice.
really surprised as well. I thought the king was going to run
Well,
b2.
no. Yeah, I thought he was going to take on e5 and go knight f4 check. Here, no, he might just have mate. King
Or, yes,
f3.
is he just planning to take and then threaten the queen drop on f2? I think that's
That's
his
what
idea.
yeah, I was thinking that if he had included bishop takes e5, it might have been a knight coming to f4 with a check. But okay, unless white has queen c8 check and he can get, no, nope. I
I think
think this
bishop
is,
at d8. Yeah, and there we have it.
yes. And the threat of
Let's see.
queen e3, queen f2, queen g3, these are too many threats. Yeah.
Okay, he's dropping in a few checks, but I think these look like spy checks to me. And
Yeah.
Dragon has been eliminated from the winner's bracket.
Wow.
But fortunately for him, it's double elimination, so he can still fight his way back through the loser's bracket.
But that was a very, very impressive wins there by Crazy8. Very impressive.
Yeah, he's also a specialist, so he shows that he can hang with the very best. All right, so let's see. We have here PKNM playing with the black pieces against No Chewy Candy, and it's a must-win situation for PKNM. And Yasser, one thing that I always notice with PKNM, I've actually also played a little bit of Crazyhouse, is that he likes putting a lot of pawns, and it's very like you might be up a lot of material, but he has all of these pawns, and you're like, okay, what do I do now? How do I attack?
Right, exactly. And that is a very, very fun strategy. I highly recommend that players, as they evolve in their Crazy House journey, that you experiment with different approaches. And one, which is really, really fun, is just to put a massive pause around your king. And you say, okay, I'm going to lose the game, but I'm not going to lose to, some easy attacks. And those where you get, like your king completely insulated, if you will, they are fun. Now, in this particular case, it's like white is getting nice harmonious play as well. I mean, I'm thinking if white needs to get oh, I don't like that move. I was about to say white needs to get a queen trade so that you could put a queen on, for example, g8 or e8 and force a checkmate. So any queen trades would be absolutely superb. And white is angling for a pawn to c7. What can
Ooh,
he do?
then I can always take it. I think now, yeah, you just take the knight on c4. By the way, yeah, so f8 is there. Oh, that's
That's
huge. You
mate.
give a knight,
That should be
but
mate, right?
but if you take
Well,
black, we take a check. But it feels like white. But white's also up 15 seconds on time. And
yeah,
oh, that's mate. That's mate. That's
mate.
it. And so
So there
no chew.
was a mate. White could have taken on e8 with the rook, put a knight on g7, and played rook on f1 to f8.
Wait, sorry. So in this position right
Oh,
here.
there's not a rook on f1. That was weird.
Oh,
Yeah, I was going to go, I thought he played f7 queen and had an extra rook. Never mind. Apologies. But nice
okay.
win by white. Nice
Yep.
win.
So no chewy candy moves on to the final, I believe, of the winners bracket against Crazy8. So that's going to be exciting. And we've seen the
Nice.
losers bracket, Plotkin and Vasquez, move on to the next round.
There. We
All right. So yeah, with all of these games wrapped up, we're looking at a pretty exciting bracket here. We see it a little more clearly. We see Crazy8, Arusti facing off against Isaac Chu in the winners final. And then we see them right here. Both of them have won some pretty nice matches. So that's going to be exciting. And then in the losers bracket, we see Nystrom facing off against Plotkin. And then we have Dragon, who we thought was our pre-tournament favorite, facing off against the only Grandmaster in the field of Vasquez. What do you make of these matches, Yasser?
Oh, looking forward to them. And again, that Crazy8 versus Dragon match, Dragon comes in as our pre-tournament favorite. He gets eliminated in the winners bracket. And sometimes you're in great form. You're just in great form. But in Crazyhouse, your form and when things are flowing, you can just destroy somebody 3-zip. It's just like, wow, and everything goes well. The very next match is like you're stuck in mud. and your every tactical variation, boomerangs against you. You're just wondering, what the hell happened? I was really in great form and suddenly I'm losing. So Crazyhouse, you have big swings, very, very big swings. You got to get used to them. It's a special variant. How about you? What's your experience with Crazyhouse?
Yeah, it's a really fun variant. Like you said, I've been playing in some of these arenas. And yeah, if things go your way, you're just winning game one after another. But if it doesn't, it can be, the flow of the game really has to be in your favor. But anyway, everyone, we are going to be taking a short break, but do not go anywhere. We will be we will be back very soon with more Crazyhouse after this break.
Threats.
Can you recommend us a series or a movie that you love?
Yeah, Peaky Blinders series.
I like Mission Impossible.
One of my favorite movies, probably Inception. Probably everybody has already watched it, but if you haven't, you definitely have to.
Everyone should see Lord of the Rings at least once.
I had quite a fun watching Better Call Saul.
Yeah, I guess RRR for people, I think a lot of people are enjoying.
Your favorite song these days?
Jay-Z or something is good.
Before the game, I often listen to AC/DC, like Thunderstruck.
Some Turkish, I don't know, some Turkish one.
So they're an Irish band. Yeah, again, nothing is coming to my mind.
Bollywood, Hindi music. Otherwise, I like music from chess-based India reels.
If you could instantly learn any language, which one would it be?
The most useful would be, like perfect English, of course, but actually maybe Chinese would be cool.
I'm torn between Georgian, Nepali as well, but Nepali, it will just make me feel better that I speak my father's language as well. Yeah, Nepali probably.
Arabic.
Spanish is the right answer.
Spanish.
I say Sanskrit.
Your challenge is to guess the accuracy level.
Okay.
Yeah. So you won with the black pieces against Prague.
Yeah, let me first see the So I guess till till e6, it's everything is perfect, because I knew this theory, and f5 was already not great. 92, 93.
89.6.
So it's actually
but still a very good game. Game number 2.
This one must be quite high, yeah, because this was quite a good game. Thing was like Nhat was very solid with white, and I played a risky opening, and I was very deeply prepared, but yeah, I was pretty much playing all the perfect moves in the position, and even if the position was equal, I thought both of our accuracies was very high at some point, and then he played this rook d3, rook f3, which gave me good chances, and then also I think my technique was pretty much close to perfect. I would say like 95, 96.
Very good. Spot on. It's 95-2. Yes, very, very good. Impressive. And then the final game.
Oh, I've seen this game. I've surely seen this game, but I can't recall who played it. Is it Magnus?
Yes, it's Magnus, when he became Grandmaster in 2004.
In the Dubai Open.
Correct, yeah.
Trying to think who fall here. Deepan, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. And now the accuracy score of this game.
For sure, a very beautiful game, but I can't see any clear mistakes. So let's say 97, 90.
Yes, it was actually 100%.
Wow.
Yeah, 100% accuracy from Magnus in that game.
Yeah, seems like a perfect game.
Your challenge is to guess the accuracy level.
Okay.
Yeah. So you won with the black pieces against Prague.
Yeah, let me first see the. So I guess till e6, it's everything is perfect because I knew this theory, and f5 was already not great. 92, 93.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Chess.com Crazyhouse Championship. Grandmasters Yasser Sayarwan and Benjamin Bach bring you all the action. Yasser, we're getting ready for the winners semifinal. Some absolute specialists facing off against one another. Who do you think will win?
The matches have been really, really nice. Some very high quality play and some extraordinary blitz skills. I mean, we saw one match came down to a game where I think there was like 15 checks inside of 2 seconds. Very impressive play. But the big news is our pre-tournament favorite finds himself in the losers bracket. He's going to have to put together a lot of wins to come back.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's in the losers quarterfinals. And in the winners final, we see a Rusty Crazy8 facing off against Chiu, also known as No Chewy Candy. And yeah, it was that first game in the match between Crazy8 and Dragon, Yasser, that I think made a big difference. We thought that Dragon was going to win. He had a big time advantage, but then at the very end, Crazy8 dropped a lot of pieces with check. He was just pre-moving, and in the end, he got the win on time.
Precisely. That turned the match, and somehow, you can go on tilt. Like you feel like, oh, I'd let a win get away, and and you're kind of cursing your bad luck, and you got this baggage, and you got to forget about it. That's ancient history, and it's easier said than done. Losing a game that you think you should have won, but yeah, you just got to put it out, and next game, move on.
And we are off. And so we see here Crazy8 playing with the black pieces. He's playing, I believe, the Scandinavian Gambit. If you will, so he's giving up a pawn. We're going for a quick development.
Exactly. I love this type of play as black. These gambits where literally you're just throwing away pieces and pawns to get your pieces out of into the attack as quickly as possible. So here an automatic for me as black is the move castle short, and after a move like knight takes c6, I start to think about queen to e4 check, so I can take on g2 and really playing, I want to say hyper aggressively, but I think that's like an over exaggeration. You play aggressively, like what's hyper aggressive? But yes, in Bughouse, sacrificing for the initiative gambits, if you will, as black, are very, very popular. There you go. Castles was a very good move. I expected it to come a lot faster than it did, and here you go, pawn to f2, pawn to d2 check. Yeah,
great move there by Crazy8. Pawn at b2. That was a great find. Distracting that bishop, and now he could drop the pawn on f2. This looks great for black. He's having a big attack, the queen in hand, a knight in hand as well. You don't want to find yourself in this position if you're no Chewy Candy. The one thing he's got going for himself is that he's got a big time advantage, but on the board it's all Crazy8.
Yeah, and the thing that black has to do is keep following up with good moves. So like here, white's going to drop a pawn on f3. White should not play f2, f3. That pawn on f2 is doing good work. Okay, bishop, I'm a little bit, yeah. But I was going to say the knight is going to come to c4, and I think you've got to play queen to b4 as white or queen to b5 as white. So the idea is, including knight e7 check is, whoa, what did he do? Whoa, whoa, whoa. This was very, very dangerous what white did.
But how can black attack that white king? It looks you don't have any good checks, I think, for the moment, and white's threatening to take on g7, and
That's
then
right.
knight f5 and queen g6. So he goes queen g5, but Yasser,
He had,
really
yeah,
speaking, you don't want to use your queen as a defensive piece, right?
no, absolutely. I mean, this is great play by white. Now you take on g7 and you take on f. Oh, sorry, he recaptured with the king. I thought he played queen g5 so he could recapture with the queen. So I'm very surprised by that decision. Anyway, queen e3 was very, very good. I think white is winning, but okay, here you go. Bishop on b7 captures f3. G takes f3 is not bad either, because you can potentially use the G line. G2 takes
Mhm.
f3 was reasonable. I prefer bishop takes f3, the move chosen by black.
Right, and we
This
see
looks
here that
over.
black has a I was gonna say it's really interesting because black has a queen on the board, a queen in hand. But you're saying it's over. It's just completely lost. That king is too weak. White's got those pawns coming in on h6 and g7. By the way,
Precisely.
black also has 20 seconds.
Yeah, you just have bishop, pawn to h6, king to h8, pawn to g7, and or bishop to h6,
Or knight
attacking the queen on
f5.
knight f5. It's just over, because again, white's king is, as you can see, beautifully, beautifully protected. Like it's just a joy. And you're going to put a pawn on h6 on the very next turn,
Ooh,
and black had seen enough.
yeah, black resigned because I think there was also knight takes g6 followed by queen at g7. So nice win there by Isaac,
Very
taking
nice.
the lead in the winner's
Yeah,
final.
yeah.
So let's
Knight takes g6
move.
was checked. You're right.
Oh, and I think, Yasser, if I'm not mistaken, this is a typical opening for Crazyhouse,
Yep.
the Scotch Four Knights. I checked this with the Crazyhouse engine. I think this is one of the best lines against one e4, e5.
Yes. Now, this last move by white, knight f5, okay, it's a very reasonable move. Strangely enough, it's unfamiliar to me. I'm used to seeing the bishop coming to d3, just double protecting the pawn on e4. Whoa, this is a surprise move. a3. So he's inviting knight takes e4. I
And
guess he wants to sacrifice his queen. Knight takes e4, a takes b4, knight takes g3, h takes g3, opening up the h line. Nope, you recaptured with the
Mhm.
queen. Can't guess
Yeah,
where white's heading next.
exactly. And we saw some black arrows on the board. That's black's analysis. Knight takes e4 is not possible due to queen takes g7 checkmate. So rook e8 was chosen by Crazy8, who, by the way, has a lead on the clock. So no, wait, sorry, Crazy8 is playing with white. My bad. All right, so what does
Yeah.
black do here? Bishop d3
Well,
makes
that was
sense.
very good move. And as you were pointing out, that queen takes g7 checkmate stops knight takes d5 or knight takes e4. This knight on f5, in the words of somebody great, has got to go.
Yeah.
Has got to go. Now, the reason why knight h4 was spectacularly good is white's last move, bishop d3, left the g2 pawn potentially vulnerable. And, you might have asked yourself as white, was the loss of the g2, d2, e4 pawn that great? In other words, instead of bishop d3, you could have considered bishop g5. Rook takes e4 check, put a pawn on e3, and then your knight's on f5, you're hitting g7, you're hitting f6. In my mind, this is a kind of a 3-result game here. It's chaotic. G2 is hanging, c3 is hanging with a check. So, keeping your poise, very, very important. Knight takes.
I'm shocked, honestly, that he blitzed out b takes c3 because he had a knight and rook in hand. He could have gone like knight h6, rook at g.
Yeah,
To me, wait, wasn't that a forced check
mate.
even?
Yeah, knight h6 was great move. You're absolutely right. A
Wait,
missed
I normally
opportunity
would
there.
not go. Or wait, did he? Oh, he still had to take the knight to be able to do that. I
Ah,
guess that's why.
okay,
Okay.
but even so, the move rook g7 check should absolutely have been, double checked, like rook
Mhm.
g7 check and maybe, but okay. He's got the rook on e2. Um, whoa, queen takes. I don't like that.
And
White's threatening
queen
mate.
at d4. If you take, wait, there's knight c3, king d2, knight e4. We see some analysis pointing out.
The weird thing is
There's
I don't even think about taking the queen. I would put a bishop on d3. A bishop in hand, I would put the bishop on d3, and I'd be thinking knight h6 check all the way. Okay.
queen d3. Oh, yeah, I think the queen could not be taken. Black would have gone. Wait, a knight e3. Wait, so either way, if you take with the bishop, there's knight b2, and if you take with the pawn, then
Right.
there's knight f2. That's what Black is also pointing out with the arrows. By the way, Isaac down to 23 seconds. Can he checkmate Crazy8 in time?
Well, I would have taken with the bishop instantly. Ooh, look at this crafty move. Rook b1 check, bishop to c1, king to d2. Good move. King to e1. I think white is winning, just flat out winning. Because again,
Right, Black.
knight h6 is the big deal.
Black's
Queen
running
takes
out of
d4.
steam. You can also take the queen and get a
Queen
queen in
takes
hand.
d4. Yeah, knight h6 check and queen takes d4 should win the game.
Throwing in a few checks. And he takes, and now Black has 7 seconds. This has to be a win for Crazy8.
Yes. Put a pawn on f6. Oops. That's pretty
Drop
good.
the. Ooh, yeah. All right. Those look like spy checks to me. And
Yeah, but in that position, he should have taken with the queen on d2, just to stop any further spike checks. But okay, a controlled win. That's a good win by white. That was a good. He did well, and queen d4 check was inspired by
yeah.
black. That was impressive. But white
Right.
handled his business very well there. Very impressive.
Mhm. So we see Crazy8 leveling up the score, and now we see No Chewy Candy, who went for the fried liver attack. All right, so let's see if Black has a heavy here. That would be checkmate on 1, but he doesn't. So bishop d6.
Ooh.
He just
So
drops a full piece.
white can drop something in on h6 here. Maybe you should, yeah. I like this move a lot. And maybe just chill with the move d2, d3 here, or d4. Defending g5 is what I want to do.
Yeah. Right, he goes
Yeah,
d4, defending the knight. And
yeah.
now
You just
pawn to
don't want to allow
g7 would be
mate.
devastating.
Yeah, you just don't want to allow a mate on d1, as somebody's pointing that out.
Yeah. Right, Queen F6. Okay,
Okay,
so let's see. Do we still
I
take?
I take on G7 for sure, yeah. And I think after knight takes G7, I don't have. Oh, that was a clever move there by Black. Queen takes F5. Maybe he should. Well, interesting. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so as white, I'm starting to think about bishop to E4. Again, these are the type of moves where you're looking for attack and defense. Black clearly had knight C2 on his agenda, and he did it. So you're defending C2 and you're hitting H7. And I think that this exchange was useful for white.
But can't Black now drop a pawn or perhaps even a bishop to E2? Isn't that annoying for white?
Yes. So you drop a pawn, for example, a bishop on D3. I like that. There's no, I don't have, it's funny because I almost want to play, if I had two knights, like a knight E7 check and a knight H6 check, and then rook G8, but I don't have a second knight. So here I start to think about knight takes F7. I'm kind of not worried about my queen. He's done something along this line because he wants to play rook H8 check,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah,
maybe
no,
knight
really.
H6.
Yeah, I think that H6 looks pretty tough. So here we've seen this pattern a lot of times, yes, where a player's queen is under attack, but he says, I don't care, just sacrificing a full queen, going for a counterattack. That's what Crazyhouse is all about. You think, but allowing knight H6? Wait, isn't
It's mate.
that's mate? Rook G8, knight F7. Or king
Yep,
F6 is what he wants.
knight H7.
Knight
Oh,
H7,
sorry.
bishop G5. It,
Yep,
it's mate. Knight H7,
yep,
rook
knight
G5.
H7. Yep.
I'm shocked that he missed that. Wait, but white does not go. I mean, this also looks crushing.
Yeah, it
At
is. But
d4, bishop f5. I'm
yeah,
surprised
this
by
is
these
nice.
moves. But now you
This isn't.
take in king f6, and where's the wow?
So
Um,
pawn to F3 check.
yeah, that's just a regular checkmate. F3 and g takes. That's just mate.
I like the way you
No
said
wait,
that.
no
A
wait. But
regular.
he keeps miss. Okay, rook g3, rookie. I'm
Bishop
confused.
G2
Yes,
was
sir.
mate. What was going
F.
on? I found it. But you're right. He was missing a couple of mates, and he finally found
Mhm.
one. And I remember
Yep.
this very nice message by Michael Tall. He had missed an earlier win. He missed an earlier win. He missed an earlier win, and he wins the game. And he was criticized after the game that he played it poorly and didn't find the direct win. And he said, "Look, all I need is one win per game." I was satisfied with the win I chose. Yes, but it wasn't as efficient as the other one. It looked pretty good to me.
Yep.
Nice.
All right. So we're seeing some interesting chess here as well. It was again a Scotch four knights,
Mhm.
and knight at h4 really like that move, going for the counterattack. It's a little bit
Yeah,
awkward to deal with that bishop hanging on g2. What do we maybe like rook g1 or move
Rook
the yeah.
G1. Rook G1. I think a pawn to G3, just kind of chill your jets, was called for because this knight on H4 is so disruptive. So disruptive. Yeah, Rook G1 was a good reaction, but I think an ounce of prevention would have been the cure there. Put a pawn on G3 when Black plays D6. Put a pawn on H5 or put a pawn on H3, and then go attack. But the knight on H4 means that, well, you can't castle anymore. Whoa, pawn to D5. Now that's either very creative or just wrong. Uh,
Is Mhm.
Bishop to g5 looked really good for white. He took on d5, not bad, not bad. But bishop to g5 really had that crispy aspect to it. Okay, bishop g4 feels like white should have something. No, there's no reaction to that move.
Right, we
Takes
see black
take.
taking on g2, and now do we? I don't like taking on g4 because then black could recapture the knight, and then rook f1 would be a devastating
Decisive.
threat. So I think it makes
Yeah,
a lot of sense to keep that rook on g1, covering a lot of squares. But
agreed.
this is a must-win game for Crazy8, who is playing with the white pieces. So let's see how
Okay.
he will try to do it. Also, by the way, Vasquez having a 2-1 lead against Dragon. Dragon, we thought was the pre-tournament favorite. And then Plotkin having the lead over Nystrom, PKNM. So some really interesting
Mhm.
stuff here.
Knight to e4. A little surprised by that move. I had expected knight takes d5 with the expectation of using the c6 square. Now here you got to be careful trading queens because queen takes d8, rook takes d8. There might be a smothered mate on f1 and g2 to deal with. d7, inviting bishop takes d7. I don't quite see the follow-up, and there wasn't a follow-up there for white. So here black is ready to give up his queen on f6. If you drop a knight as white on the f6 square, you take it with the pawn, and then the rook comes on the first rank, and you're crying.
Yep. No, yeah, like I said, I think that the queen sack for two minor pieces is generally a no-brainer in Crazyhouse. And
Oh,
yes, sir, to me,
automatic.
this looks crushing. Black is turning rook
Terrible.
f1, rook h1, rook g1. You cannot cover all three squares. The king
It
would be
looks
forced to
terrible.
the d file. I think we'll see, okay, rook g1 and then maybe knight f1, but maybe just take. And if you capture,
Yep.
there's knight at g2. It takes the
Yep.
other knight with the same idea.
Same idea, but devastating.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yep.
And wow, we
Black.
see a checkmate by No Chewy Candy. So he moves on to the grand final. Very convincing match by him. Dragon, by the way, has been eliminated by Vasquez, and we see Plotkin
Wow.
having a 2-1 lead.
Real upsets going on. Our our pre-tournament favorites are all being nasty surprises for them.
Hmm. And actually, I see Chuck Moulton, who is an expert, definitely in Buckhouse. I don't know if he's an expert in Crazyhouse as well, but he's saying that he does not consider Dragon the favorite because all the other guys have played much more Crazy
Oh,
House. So that's interesting
okay.
to know. But Dragon was had the higher Chess.com rating, so it's really interesting how these how the ratings work. You know, it doesn't always say everything.
Oh, absolutely. And again, a lot of the thing in Crazy House is form. And, if you're playing in a flow, I don't care what your rating is. You got it. Uh, I was a little bit surprised by the move bishop h3 check. I thought that the immediate knight c5 check was the way to go there. And maybe white, ooh, that was a crafty move by black. Knight to b5. Isn't it time we put something on d7?
You would think so, but it goes king takes d2. Wow, that is a
Wow.
risky move. Keep in mind,
Wow.
it's a
No, he did it wrong. White messed up when he played king takes d2. He should have put a pawn on d7 with a check. And he waited too long, and now, whoa, wait, is rook
rook
h
at b.
check.
All right, but
Oh,
now wait 6 seconds for black. It's coming down to a time scramble. Who I
knight c5 check.
this
Let's go.
You need a pawn. A pawn is made, but black's threatening to drop Okay, 4 seconds against 3. This is crazy. Just pre-move.
Yes, exactly.
White's pre-moving, but it's so easy to. Wow, and
White
Plotkin
won!
gets it done. Wow.
Oh, my kingdom
What
for a
a finish.
second. And
I
you
would
see,
be terrified walking the king up the board and you get checkmated, but you have to pre-move in that situation.
and again, when you're on the winning side and you gotta take a piece, it's like the system. You know, you use your hand and you got this box of pieces and you got to get the right box to put it down. And sometimes when you just have a few seconds, it's better to pre-move what's on the board.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So here we see our bracket, Yasser. So we have one grand finalist, Isaac Chu, no chewy candy. He's made it all the way through, and he is going to have to wait who is going to be his opponent. As we have a look at the losers bracket, we see that we have Plotkin facing off against Vasquez, and the winner of that will face off against Arusti, also known as Crazy8. And the winner of that will play Isaac, but Isaac will have 2 lives as he made it through the winner's bracket.
Exactly. So coming through the losers bracket, it's double elimination for everybody. So you win the winner's bracket, you have to lose 2 matches to get eliminated.
Absolutely. Everyone has 2 lives. But I also wanted to thank Bornik, who gave a raid to our channel. So a big thank you to Bornik, as the games are about to get underway. So now there's only one match, which is Plotkin against Vasquez. Who do you have, Yasser, in that one?
Plotkin played in the qualifier, a couple of qualifiers that I played in yesterday, and I was impressed by his play. So I probably would make him favorite, but then again, you know, it's all about form. And the Scandinavian with d5 tends to be a popular response to e4, specifically because of the situation that we have on the board, which is that white oftentimes fails to play a move like d4, and he gets his pieces tricked. The queen came to c5, pardon me, hit the bishop on c4 and the knight on d4, provoked this piece sacrifice, which unfortunately for white simply doesn't work. You take the pawn on e6 here, and you're a very happy camper. Suddenly,
All right.
whoa, wait a minute. That was a bit of a surprise. I thought that black was going to just comfortably recapture the pawn on e6, but the move d5 was a surprise move.
Yep. It's once again all about the initiative. If you would have taken on f4, queen takes g2, black is having a nice attack. So let's see.
Here, I'd be very tempted as black. Well, queen takes c3 and
This.
bishop e5. Yeah, it's a lot of pieces, but I
You're
think that
giving
this is
white the
probably.
queen in hand, which feels really dangerous with that king that is already being attacked.
Ooh, but this was a very
Oh,
good knight.
do you
Knight is
queen?
dropping on g2. You
Did he take
have
with
to
the
take with the
pawn,
pawn.
and then king
Knight
d2?
g2. Queen takes f4 check. Oh, he took with the queen. What's that? You're threatening mate on e2 now.
Queen
You
at
got 2
e2. Yeah.
queens. Or queen takes c3 check, followed by mate on e2. Well, we're going to play knight g2 check anyway. Or maybe even in this case, queen to g2. Queen g2 is attractive.
King d1
No, he's
only
just
move.
going for the material. Queen f1 check. Looks good.
Ah,
He's done it.
yeah. Knight at e1. All right,
Now
where's
you
the
take the
win?
rook. You just take the rook.
Ah.
We're boring. We're boring.
All right, he takes. Check.
Drop a
Okay, you're
rook
gonna
on
have to give up
c.
one queen. This is not over yet, and white will get the queen in hand. But there's
Yeah,
got to
but
be
we got
something.
knight takes f3 check,
Knight at
and
d4.
Knight at d4 check. That looks like a ooh.
Ooh.
That's very good. Knight to
No,
d4
this
check.
this
Yeah,
game is about to be over. Knight f5, and oh, yep, and a nice win there for
nice,
Vasquez. Take the lead in the match.
nice finish. A good kill at the end. Rookie 4 check. Uh, very. Well, that game, by the way, is very typical of Crazyhouse, where you win literally out of the opening. Like, if you think about what happened in that game to White, it was like from move 8, suddenly it went wrong. The moment you saw Queen c4 and Knight f3 and Knight g2, you realize it was one-way traffic. This is a terrible move. c7, c6. Again, too passive, and it's about development and safety. Like in that position, if I have nothing to do, I would just put my bishop back on g7 and just say, okay, like there's going to be a future tempo against that bishop. So I might as well save myself the trouble now.
Right, and we see Black going for the fianchetto, and h6, a typical Crazy House move as well, covering the h6 square, making sure that White cannot drop anything there. And it's really not that easy to, make
Kill.
inroads towards that Black king. Knight g5,
Yeah.
interesting moves here by Plotkin.
Well, what Plotkin's doing is he's eyeballing a sacrifice on h3. He should just play bishop takes h3 right now and just say, that's it. I'm sacrificing. I'm going to get 2 pawns for a minor piece. But at the same time, I'm just ripping open the king shield for White. So bishop h3 really is an automatic. Oh, okay.
I'm surprised he
He
didn't
had a
do that. I mean, yes, this wins a
Yeah.
pawn, but like you said, the attack is everything.
Yeah, and here, if I'm White, I hope I have a knight. I drop a knight on e6 in the tempo, like just boom, and let's go. He did it in a different way. Okay. So in this position, I would find myself attracted to the move d3, d4, because I really want to put a bishop on this diagonal. So bishop takes f4, bishop takes f4, and then a bishop goes to e5, and you know what I mean. I'm just thinking of a checkmate. But okay, knight to g5, good move. I mean, Black, it's a mix of some very good moves and some strange ones as well. Bishop back, doesn't that encourage knight g4? I don't know.
Possibly. I suppose that knight is going to be taken. He goes knight e5, also makes sense.
I
Like as a
like it.
bishop
I
and
like it.
2 pawns in hand, but g5 looks annoying, because where do you go with the knight?
Very annoying. Yeah. Okay. Good reaction, because you don't want to just move the knight and allow bishop takes h3. So he's trying. Now here I find myself drawn to knight takes g6, and he's played it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the
f7,
initiative is so important. Knight takes g6 again, keeping it going.
mm-hmm. So
But,
you think
I
knight
mean,
takes g6 right now, and if Black takes, then he goes f4. But what if you? Well, maybe he wants knight h5. Is that what he
yes, he
wants?
does. That's exactly right. He wants knight h5 to try to bring his queen to g6 square. And, it's like you need a knight, so you could put a knight to e8. But what Black is not giving up his knights.
No.
Okay,
He's
you have
got 3 knights in hand, yes, sir.
yeah. I thought White was going to take on e5, and I don't know why he didn't. Now I'm worried about the move knight f3 check.
Ooh, that's a full queen. And now Black gets a queen in hand. This should be a win for Plotkin, who also has a slight lead on the clock.
Yeah, this is easy now. I
Nice
thought
move.
bishop. Yeah, bishop takes h3 for black. Something similar. You just want to drop a pawn on g2. White had some chances there. The move queen g5, or when he put a pawn on g5, made no sense. He could have taken on e5 with the idea to put something on f6. Okay, I never understood what White was doing when he played d4 and knight c3 on consecutive moves. d4 is fine, but then why do you put your knight on c3? Well, we're about to find out.
Right. And Yasser, so we thought that Dragon was the pre-tournament favorite, but he actually said in the chat that he only played 1,000 games of Crazyhouse, whereas some of these players have played 10,000 plus games. So he felt like he had no chance against them. Yeah, that's a lot.
Wow,
Yeah.
10,000 is a lot. Here, knight takes c6. Knight takes c6 looks, yeah,
Right. So
that
what do
looks
we
like
do
a
here?
really good move.
Do you take on c6 or do you take on d1 and then just knight takes, king takes?
Well, the thing is, knight takes d8, king takes d8. I'm a little bit, well, we're about to find out. Oh,
At c6, typical reaction. Like you said earlier, you don't want to weaken that c7 square, and knight takes c6. Again, it's all about the initiative.
exactly. If you castle short, which is kind of a nice move for black, unfortunately, castle short is going to really get thumped by knight e7 and a pawn to h6. That would just play itself. That was a very nice move, queen e2, by the way. Recapturing with the bishop is nice. It just kind of like cements a little bit white's king side. So bishop takes d1, or do we have, we could play maybe pawn to b7 and pawn to d7?
Yeah, that's a
Pawn?
typical like pattern we've learned today. Yeah, we saw Crazy8 using that earlier. Really like that, and then black takes, you drop on c5, and then your queen could drop on e7. I like that idea to try to get the initiative. So let's see. I'm sure
Agreed.
Jenna is thinking about it.
For sure. If you, whoa, I was about to say, the problem, the very desirable move, pawn to h6, allows bishop takes f2 check, but he's calculating that king takes d1, there'll be no follow-up for black. So we have to play rook g8. Yeah.
Right, and now I don't see the follow-up for white.
Well, king takes d1. Bishop takes d1, bishop takes f2. I'm always a little bit concerned that that will produce mate.
An idea for white could be to go queen at f8, takes, and then rook at d8. But black is going to block on the e8 square, and then unfortunately, since we don't have any other pieces, we don't have a follow-up. But I'm sure that is something Plotkin is going to be looking at.
Yeah,
At
the rook h8. The problem, as I saw it, was rook takes h8, and bishop is still in the game.
Right.
The bishop can recapture the new queen.
But then he wants rook at g8, and then let's say knight f8, knight g7. I think is his idea. So we're going to see it on the board. Takes,
Let's have
rook
a
at
look.
g8.
Okay, so king comes up, knight c5 check. King
Yes, that
d6,
looks
knight
nasty.
e4 check. Yeah, it looks very nasty. Queen f8. Okay, so
Take?
this is how we could make a draw with queen to d8 check and every major
And
piece.
and even like if black blocks with the rook, you take on e8 and then rook g8. It's
Yeah, that's a typical drawing
and we're
pattern.
seeing it
Yeah,
being played out.
yeah. Black is very lucky that white doesn't have a pawn, because after rook to e8, pawn to g7 would just win the game on the spot.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. Black says no draw. No draw.
Okay. All right. So what is the follow-up now? Do we take that knight with either the bishop or the king, or he goes knight g5 threatening knight takes h7? It looks really dangerous. Maybe knight at f6 to defend everything,
Well,
although...
no, then knight takes h7. If you go knight f6 defending h7, I'll sacrifice, put a pawn on g7. Oh, the same thing. I'm sacrificing again. That's it. It's winning. This is just winning for white now. I think knight e8 was,
Too
an
passive. Bishop at
overreach.
h6, yeah.
Yeah, bishop h6. I mean, too
Too
optimistic.
passive. And it's
Yeah.
really interesting. We had queen at h8. Oh, everything is coming with check now. We had Chuck Moulton in the chat earlier saying that he felt like Jenna has the tendency to play too passively, and he thought Plotkin's gonna, sack and win. But we're having a time scramble here. 14 seconds against 9. Everything can still happen here. Oh, knight
Absolutely.
at h7 is gonna hurt.
Yeah, mate should
Oh,
be.
everything coming with check now. 2 seconds for Jenna.
Oh,
This is a...
no. Ah,
But White gets to win on time.
No. How did Black's king escape? There was a knight h7 check, and the king went to e8, and I thought it was mate. He must have missed his kill. Wow.
Yeah, but really hard to figure out what was going on. But in those types of situations, what you just have to do is turn off thinking and just start playing, start pre-moving. That's the only thing that matters when both have 5 seconds on the clock.
Absolutely, is go for the scramble. By the way, this particular opening as Black, I really like. I love the bishop on h5. It makes this marvelous impression of defending f7. Very, very important in these positions to keep your pawn on f7. But it also has this dual possibility of pinning the knight on f3, and that makes the setup very attractive. Now you put a knight on f4 for Black, or at least you aspire to put a knight on f4, and White is basically on the back foot.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But keep in mind that Plotkin now has a 2-1 lead. It's best of 4. In the last game, we saw at some point the players were repeating moves. Now that would not at all be an option for Vasquez, because with a draw, Plotkin would qualify for the next round.
Exactly. Knight to d5. In that particular position where the bishop was under attack just a moment ago, I would have been far more tempted to castle. You take on e6. I recapture with the pawn. So I've given up a bishop for just a pawn, but my king is safe, and I've covered the d5 square. Uh-oh, this looks very good for White. Put
Pawn
a pawn
at
on
e7.
e7.
Yep.
Yeah.
White's having all the attack. His king feels pretty safe. Maybe knight at d4 to try to get some sort of counterattack going. And yet we see Black looking at it.
But queen g4 is just too attractive. Yeah, Black decided that he had to give up his queen for just a pawn. Dang, that was harsh.
Yeah, that's not a whole lot of material. Now, maybe even bishop at g6. Bishop e7, okay.
I like that move, bishop e7, a lot, because I really want to challenge Black's control of the f6 square. In particular, I'd love to play bishop takes g5, followed by a knight dropping on f6. Then I've got an easy checkmate to be delivered.
Yeah. So it's a must-win game for Jenna, but it looks like he's on his way to do it. He's up a queen, knight f4. At some point, Plotkin had to go for the counterattack. G4, I don't know. I feel like Jenna
I would have taken on f4, and then knight takes f4, and in case of bishop takes e7, put a knight on g6. Oh, he's done it. F6. This is very, very good. Very,
F6
very good.
Did not look like a good move because, oh, wait. He can just do all of this? No, it's mate. No. Checkmate. All right. So we're going to overtime.
Yeah.
He could have done a queen g7, but he goes pawn g7. Nice.
Benjamin, you have to admire the artistry of chess, of Crazyhouse.
Absolutely. Yep. All right, so it's
A
going to
move
be
like Queen
overtime, Yasser.
G7 is very brutal.
Yep. So we're going to be seeing a bullet game, and the winner of that will move on to the losers final, I believe, against Arusti, against Crazy8.
Yeah, Rusty's waiting for the winner of
Yep.
this match. That last game, it just felt that White had a control. He had a grip. The pawn was on f5, and there wasn't many defenders of the king. And impressive win there. Whoop.
Oh, and they're already off. Okay, so the moves are going to be fast and furious.
Because
right, what do you make of this
opening? They are playing a 1 minute sudden death.
Yep.
And I noticed that White has been playing this h4 business in a number of the matches so far. And I'm not a big fan personally because of knight takes h4 in such positions. But White's been getting away with it. Uh-oh. That's an alert. Rook h1 mate. Just got it. Yeah, I was about to say, ooh, who's mating who down the H file? It's
These moves are
crazy.
coming in. It truly is. Oh, this looks dangerous. If you take, but White is a queen in hand, a knight in hand as well. I really like White's chance.
Check. Yeah, 97 was a check. Yeah, this is over now. 97 check.
Plotkin having great chances here to win it all. Queen g2, nice defensive and attacking move. 92. Okay,
what a great response. Knight d2. I love that response. Just the final great act of defiance.
But where's the rook at g6? Looks powerful. Oh, because okay.
No, he missed the mate. The mate was bishop to f8. Pardon me, bishop to d8 when the king was on f6. So you force him to put a pawn on e7, and then you go rook f8. And that would have been mate.
Has to be winning for White with knight d7. Oh,
yes.
Again, on e7.
Nice. Yeah. Well, that was a good. I mean, at a moment there when Black had something going down the H file, for a moment there, I thought White had overextended.
Yeah, that was a crazy game, but it's called Crazyhouse for a reason, and we see Mark Plotkin moving on to the losers final against Crazy8, which is going to be very exciting, Yasser.
Yeah, well, Mark was my favorite for that match, but Crazy8 played a match earlier in this championship. Played a match against Dragon and was incredibly impressive. So I'm thinking Crazy8 is going to be the favorite going in, and the winner, of course, goes to the super final.
Yep, I think Crazy8 is the favorite there as well. He's really a specialist, but we're going to find out. But for now, we are going to be taking a very short break. Don't go anywhere, because we are soon going to be back with the winner, with the losers final. See you soon.
All right.
Vishy Anand. I met him for the first time in 1988 at the first Olympiad I was taking part. And he was also representing India. And we got to meet him. Shortly after that, he visited to Hungary, to Budapest, to our home. And it was amazing. I've never seen somebody like that before, who was so addicted to chess. He was so much pulled in. All his thoughts were about chess. In his hand, it was always a chess magazine, because of course we had a lot of that too, or a chess informant, always telling stories, playing and analyzing in his head. We played a lot of blitz also. He was incredible fast. He was the speediest, fastest player at the time by far who I knew. And then later on, I saw him in competition in Vaikanze a year later or 2 years later. He was just playing, blitzing his classical games. He was spending not more than 30 minutes for the whole game. So he was so much into the game, and he had so much passion, and he had so much dedication, and he was so young, and he was just so happy with playing chess. And then later on, tons of times we played together in different tournaments, not only because he was, of course, a great player at a very young age already, the first grandmaster from India, but also he moved to Spain, so he was more European for many years, I can say maybe for a decade or a decade and a half. So he was very concentrated on his results. And he was always a person who was not looking for conflicts. He was very much avoiding conflicts or difficult moments. He was a very solid man all the time. At the same time, at the board, he was always extremely well prepared. And he had some incredible qualities. I remember a story when he played an extremely sharp position in Spain. I think in Dos Hermanas, we were playing in the same event. And it was like a huge, massive position. And I asked him, well, Vishy, isn't this game was so frightening? Everything is hanging, it's a mess, it's dangerous. He said, well, if you're training and you make the right preparation and you work on it, then it's not so dangerous at all. I mean, you make your preparation. So that's the guy he was, that he was ready to put into the game all this work and effort to reach his goals. So this was very special to see him. He's, I think, a great inspiration example for Indian chess. So he's one of the persons, I believe, who we can say that has the biggest influence, but definitely is a huge influence into the next generation. Because what I've seen him as a person who was dedicated, what he did initiated in India, and he was the first grandmaster. Now there is 88 or 89 grandmasters. So that's an incredible journey, what he's been doing. And I'm pretty sure we are going to see him doing more activities where he can inspire and put very much himself into all these positive vibes and to make the chess world stable and better and enjoyable. Vishy Anand. Vishy Anand. I met him for the first time in 1988 at
Grandmasters Yasser Scheirwan and Benjamin Bach bring you all the action. Yasser, we're now getting ready for the losers final.
Yeah, and it's going to be a great one between Mark and Crazy8. And I just had a story to share with the Judith Polgar and Vishy. So on the broadcast, we kept referring to Vishy as a 5-time world champion. Of course, we're talking about Vishy as a classical world champion. But I saw him in a restaurant here, Bar Italia. And I went over to him and I said, Vishy, how many world championships title did you win? And he said 9.
9?
So rapid blitz and the world championship classical. I thought, 9 world championship titles. Vishy, you had some pretty good days.
That sounds even better indeed, yeah.
9. Okay, and how about you? Who are you expecting in this match to get to the super final?
Yeah, I think I'm going to put my money on Crazy8. He made it to the winner's final. Plotkin had a much tougher road coming through the loser's bracket. So to me, Crazy8 really seems like the favorite.
Yeah. But again, as we've been seeing some very creative, imaginative chess. And it has come in a number of these matches, right down to the last seconds and pre-moving those checks.
Absolutely. And look at this, Yasser. Plotkin lost in the very first round of the winner's bracket, but made his way all the way back, defeating Vladislav, defeating Nystrom, defeating Vasquez, and now he's up against Crazy8. But yeah, I really think Crazy8 should be the favorite here. Arusti.
Yeah. Of course, this match is basically determining second and third place in the tournament. The loser gets the third place, so the winner gets at least the second place playing for the first. So, and they're off. Let's go. Bishop c4. Like I said, that is usually Bishop b5 is not the way Crazyhouse players like to play. They like to play the Joko pianos. Bishop e7 to c5, that delayed way of getting to c5, I'm not a fan of. I know people like it. I'm just not a fan of it myself. Bishop e6, I think it's a big mistake for white to take on e6, just because I do think this pawn on e6 is a really good one to have. Now here, for example, if I play the move d5, and you might think, well, I'll take it twice on d5. Yeah, don't forget there's going to be a square e2 at the end of the day that could be hanging. And here, if you wanted to play a move like bishop h5, I'm a fan. Bishop f7.
Your looks a bit more passive. I was wondering about knight xf3 followed by knight e4, but he takes with the pawn. Knight e2 makes sense to me now. And if you're black, I'll be looking to drop a pawn on e3, but we don't have a pawn in hand currently.
Right.
Is he going to sack?
No. I also wanted to say that if he had played knight e2 immediately, a good reaction would have been for black to put a knight on e5. So the move knight g4 was, again, one of those wonderful offensive as well as defensive moves. The knight on g4 came with a tempo against the queen, but it also blocked black from putting a knight on e5 himself. Now, from white's point of view, I think both players want pawns. Black would like, as you just said, to put a pawn on e3, and white would love to put pawns on h6, followed by a pawn on f6. But nobody has anything in hand.
Yep.
Okay.
And by the way, Yasser, this is a rematch actually from the very first round when Crazy8 defeated Plotkin in overtime. You won 32, so we'll see if how the players are feeling now. I'm sure that Plotkin is coming in with vengeance. And there we see d5, Crazy8 forcing the trade of pawns as he would love to drop something. Maybe knight xg2 is on his agenda as well.
Exactly. And it very, very often happens that you want to trade, pardon me, on your terms. And a moment ago, if you had traded pawns on d5, opening up the e file, you have to be really concerned that a pawn might land on e2. And by playing what he did, which was bishop back to b3, I think white played it really well. That was a very clever decision. Now, there I don't understand what white did. Black should have taken twice on e5 so that he could play knight f3 check. So e3 is a very good move, don't get me wrong, but there was no reason not to take on e5 and then win the queen back. But okay, missed opportunity, but still good for black at the moment.
All right, and by the way, yeah, so we see that Plotkin also is having a significant lead on the clock. He's got a minute and a half against 56 seconds. So that's definitely a factor as well, as there's no increment.
Yeah, definitely. That clock awareness, you just, it's an instinct that you just absolutely, you have this awareness, like it's almost like a ticking clock in your head that's going on. Here, I'm putting my queen on h6, even though I know it's inviting knight g4. I like to try to get my opponent to drop his pieces. Queen h6, knight g4, queen g6. And I'm...
Wait, knight e7? Sacking the
That
queen, or was
was
that,
not good. He blundered.
is that a
He just
blunder,
blundered.
or I think he's
It's a
just lost
blunder.
because he's losing
Yeah.
e3 as well. There's no attacking, you're just down a queen.
Yeah. So pawn to h6. Pawn to
Yeah,
h6.
lots of tempting options here for Plotkin. Knight at h5. Knight h5 was chosen. A little bit surprised by that because now Crazy8 is getting a chance to come back. This is not over yet.
Ooh, that
Wait,
wins.
did he blunder mate? I think
Yes,
you have the
he
queen.
missed knight f3. He missed knight f3.
Wait, he
Yeah,
blundered mate.
it's
Because if you take
mate.
it to pawn, there's g3 and bishop g2, and if you take it to queen, then take and queen g3. Wow, this is shocking. Like knight h5 to me felt way too slow, honestly.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. It's over. It's over.
That is a
Wow.
crazy turnaround by Crazy8, and he takes the first game. Looks like it was gonna be over in just a couple of moves, but Crazy8 wins.
Truly nice, nice victory there by Crazy8. Bishop e7. No, that's not a good move. This has not worked out well at all for Black. Black's in deep trouble here. And a move I would find very attractive is bishop h6, idea of knight g7, or castles first, because I'm not afraid of rook takes g2, check. All of Black's pieces are still on the queen side on the first row. The bishop g7 and knight g7, bishop h6 and knight g7 check is just a winning threat in my view. Bishop h6, expecting it now. Okay.
He goes pawn e5, trying to make inroads that way. Bishop c6, good move. I suppose you have to recapture here, but I'm sure that at some point Plotkin is. If he by the way has a rook, he would have knight h3 and rook at g1. That would be a forced checkmate, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
But that's something White's gonna have to watch out for.
Yeah. In fact, just because you're pointing that out, I'm very attracted to knight takes f6 check, and then a bishop in hand I put on g5 to block the g file with a gain of a tempo, just to stop the very checkmating attack that you mentioned, just to put a kibosh on that. So bishop in hand to g5.
He goes
Okay,
pawn
put
at
the pawn.
g5. Okay. I
The
think
reason-
maybe bishop g5, could bishop takes f3 been a move?
Queen takes f3.
I guess queen takes and then queen takes b7, yes, and white gets the attack. But now,
As well as a rook h8 check business. There's a rook h8 thrown in there somewhere as well. But yeah, okay. Bishop comes to f6.
wow,
Oh,
he sacks the bishop.
okay.
d5.
Whoa, d5. Whoa, what is going on here? He doesn't have...
By the way, Yasser,
Yeah.
we've seen this in other games as well. Crazy8, I like his attacking chess, but he's down a minute on the clock. So if Plotkin can survive, he definitely will have an opportunity in this game. But on the board, it's looking tough.
Yeah. Well, this last move by Black, bishop to e5. So I'm following it up with bishop to c6 now, or bishop to e6. So as Black, I'm really desperately interested in following up a bishop takes f3 business. So I need to block the e file. So a move like bishop e6 I find really attractive. Ooh, queen b5 check. That looked wrong. I don't know why he played bishop to c6, but okay. That move. Ooh, oh, Black is slipping here. White's getting some serious chances suddenly. That last move, queen take h7, That really opened up opportunities for black. Now, wait a minute. We don't
Is
have a
there a
rook anymore.
counterattack? I don't think so. Yeah,
Yes.
like
I'm looking at queen b4 with the idea of taking the rook at a certain moment.
maybe now
I mean,
pawn, like either bishop to e3 or pawn at e7 looks very tempting to me. Because with the pawn on e7, also make sure the black cannot go queenside castles.
precisely. And I think pawn e7 just wins the game. Just it's so devastatingly strong. Now, taking on f8 and putting a rook on e7 is not too shabby either. Yeah, this has got to be
And
made.
it really's
This
got
is
to be. He's got 26 seconds, but that should still be plenty of time to get it done. But this could still get close, yes, sir. Knight takes.
yeah, but you got a rook to e7 check.
Ooh, he's sacking a
Whoa,
full queen, but wait, what is
why?
he?
Okay, take it and rook to e7 check.
15 seconds. It's not over
Oh,
yet.
he took
Wait,
with the
takes?
queen.
Where's the
Uh,
mate? Oh, he. Oh, and wait, knight at e5 looks dangerous. 10 seconds. He's either gonna mate or he's gonna flag. Take the king
yeah,
d6. Where's the? I don't see the mate. 6
should be
seconds.
there.
We might see plot. I don't see it. I think Plotkin might be surviving.
That
Okay,
would be
king f4.
crazy.
King. I. Wait, can you? Oh, if you take knight f4 and pawn g3, I think
Yes.
he's getting it done. Wait, no, he's
No,
not. What a game by Plotkin. I mean, he deserves credit for that because he found the only moves to stay alive and flags Crazy8 to level up the score.
but that was crazy that white just didn't take everything and go rook to e7 check and then queen on h7 to h8. You know, when he played that second pawn to e7, I think he forgot he was hanging his queen. Yeah,
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, I
yeah.
think we all assumed there was a mate, but then it was like, well, where is the mate actually? And so here we are. It's now all tied up 1-1.
Wow. Huge turnaround for those joining us late in this match. Now, it's the winner of this match. It depends who wins because um, who has the double life? Ah, I forgot already.
Isaac.
Isaac, of course, has the double life. Yes, because Plotkin lost the first match of the day, and has fought his way all the way back to the very finals. Now here I'm playing knight g3 in a nanosecond just because I love opening up this H file, and I hate these knights on e4. It's like they gummy up everything.
Yeah.
So like force that guy to trade itself off. Yeah, I didn't like the move knight f4, but okay, it's definitely style. Wait a minute, is d2 hanging? Yeah, he's
It is. And
sacrificing
black,
d2 for d5.
yeah,
But white
d5.
is
And
thinking, yeah,
I
white is
think bishop
thinking that,
takes
look,
g6.
yes, what white is thinking that his king's very safe, that knight takes f1, you could either take with the queen or play bishop takes g6, just as you said, and say, okay, here we go. He's inviting bishop takes g6.
Right, so we see rook at g4 by Crazy8. But yeah, sorry, just wanted to
Ooh,
that
rook
that
takes
last game I think is oh yeah, that looks good for black. But yeah, I think that last game is crucial for the match. Had Crazy8 won that one, you would have had a 2-0 lead. Honestly, would not see
Yep,
Plotkin come back from that, but now 1-1, anything can happen.
true that. 100%. Ooh, knight f3 doesn't feel like it's 100%. No, that bishop on h3 is doing a great job stopping knight to h3 in some cases, but also, attacking the e6 square so we can drop something there, or take on g6 and support it with f5. Here we go, king h1. I
Yep.
don't
No,
see
that's
the
what these
follow-up to this.
yeah, that's what these crazy house players are so good at. These multi-purpose moves, combining attack and defense. And Yasser, this has been a recurring theme in this match. We see Crazy8 once again down a minute on the clock, but his attack looks promising. If you take that pawn, I mean, bishop at g2, followed by knight at h4, has to be calculated. Goes bishop takes g6, going for the counterattack.
100%. You absolutely, as white here, have to go for this. And this was a forced decision. Sometimes forced moves are good moves, Ben. And here we've got a pawn on e6 and maybe the rook coming to g7 check. So that will allow us to play rook takes g4, defend our king. So I'm expecting rook g6 check and take the pawn on g4, and then away we go. Oh, he didn't do it. He went
So
f7.
does that need to be taken? Crazy8 says no, but now maybe g7, and then rook g6 takes g4. By the way, Crazy8 down to 26 seconds. I think, again, if Plotkin survives, he's got a great chance to win, but takes on h3 looks really dangerous.
Rook
Oh, no, wait,
g8
there's rook
mate.
g8. Yeah. Oh,
Rook
15
g8 mate.
seconds. I think Plot... Wow, and he just resigns?
Wow. I would never, ever resign in that position. I would play king takes f8, and yeah, I lose the game, but okay. Normally in Crazy House, you just play.
Yep,
Okay.
because it's so easy to hang mate, right?
Yeah, exactly. The French defense is one of those openings that's bad in Crazy House, but it's okay so long as you don't play c5. If you play c5, it's like you're just busted. The problem with
c5 is on the
c5,
board.
yeah, the problem with c5 is literally the c7 and d6 squares are too darn weak. So you take on c6, and then you play knight takes d4, and you just infest. Bishop takes c6, and you play something to d6, and you can just see, like how bad it is.
Mm-hmm. Knight h5, by the way, also a typical move that's really annoying in Blockhouse and in Crazy House because it's always awkward to defend that g7 pawn. And Plotkin defends it with bishop to f8. And yeah, I really think that Plotkin is just going for the strategy of playing the clock. He knows that is Crazy8's weakness. If he can just survive on the board, you will always have chance to flag him.
Yeah, here you're seeing the problem with the French defense is look at just the very, very weak squares on g7, f6, c7. Like if white has a knight right now, I mean, it'd be almost a forced mate with knight to c7. I'm thinking queen takes d4, but I'm also thinking about pawn to g7. I wasn't thinking about knight f6 because I was afraid that black would give up the queen, which he's done.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be a little hesitant here about bishop f2 check. Like I start to,
And what is the follow-up?
yeah, knight e4 check. I think it's probably good for white still. But okay, bishop.
So do we go I was going to say c3 or pawn at c3. Go c3. I like Crazy8's chance here for a comeback. I mean, he's got the queen in hand, the knight in hand as well. Those could be some really powerful drops. And I feel like his king still has plenty of room to move around. The king is not stuck in a box, whereas the black king actually is a little bit more stuck in a box on e8.
Yeah. Okay, so whoa. That doesn't look good at all because I always ask myself how powerful a threat is knight takes g2, and I just don't see it as being that kind of a powerhouse threat. So it's sort of like, can't I take the rook on a8? Okay, he's played queen g3, So he's going to take the rook and put a rook on b8. Although in that case, I'm a little bit nervous. I've
That looks
given up
winning. Knight
queen.
takes a8 and then c7. GG.
Ah,
You take the queen
GG.
c7 and then just rook to d8 or b8 is just checkmate. So yeah, but
He
this
has to
black is not going to survive this. Queen c7 is just a regular checkmate. Queen takes d7, queen takes f7, and he goes for it.
He's done it. He's done it. He's missed. He missed queen c7. I think the move knight g2, maybe even bishop b4 check was just wrong. Maybe he had to play bishop takes f2 check and bishop c5 check and just see what's going on there. But as it turns out, easy win there for white at the end.
So Crazy8 ties it up, and we're going to overtime. It's going to be bullet. Honestly, I feel like this should improve Plotkin's chances because I believe he's the worst. I believe Crazy8 is the better Crazy House player, but Plotkin is faster, so that should definitely benefit him in bullet.
Yeah, and for those of you of us, myself most especially, playing in the arena, having great mouse skills, which all of the qualifiers have great mouse skills, but looks to me like Plotkin in particular and today is showing great mouse skills.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What is it about those Canadians, the chess bras? They got great. I call them the time boys.
Yeah, they're so fast, especially Amon's got some real mouse speed, yeah.
Yeah, he does. It's like, time boy. Like we would, in wrestling, you have these tag team champions, right? And like I would get a winning position, but I'd have no time. And I'd say, Amon, calling Amon. Yeah.
What do you think about this? I kind of like this
it's
for wide.
It's
Rook
completely
at
winning.
h7.
Yeah, it's completely winning. This is you never, ever allow these types of sacrifices. I did not like the move Rook h7. That was just, you misplayed. Just put a pawn on h5, put another pawn on g6. The position will take care of itself. White is definitely winning, but that was weird. Why would you play g4? You just gave away a great pawn and force the knight to h4? Okay. White's still winning, but he's making life a little bit difficult for himself, or maybe a lot difficult for himself.
This is a great find by Crazy8. It was knight c4 a pre-move, perhaps? That move surprised me. I thought pawn to h3.
Oh, by far,
no.
pawn to h3 was great. But look at what's happening. He's still doing it. Oh.
It's all about, again, whether Plotkin can survive. If he can survive on the board, knight at f3 is going to hurt. That's a huge threat.
Yeah.
A take. Plotkin going for the flank, and I think he's going to pull it off, because 2 seconds for it, it's not enough. That's not enough. Plotkin's going to get the win.
Wow. White won on time.
Yeah. All right. So great match by Plotkin as he gets the win. He really maximized his chance. He knew, like, hey, as long as I survive, I will always have chance on the clock, and that's how he won the match.
Yeah. Amazing. So because of its double elimination, Isaac will have to win this match to take first. But what a comeback there. Wow. Yeah, the move knight b4 was very bad. He had to play knight e7 to defend g6 as well as d5.
Yep. Yeah. So we see Plotkin moving on to the winners final, to the grand final against Isaac. Yasser, I gotta think that Isaac's gotta be the favorite there. I mean, he came through very convincingly through the winner's bracket. Plotkin has been winning matches by the skin of his teeth. Look at this. In the losers semifinals, losers final, he won in overtime.
Right. I was watching not a Monday night football game, a Thursday night football game, and the Denver Broncos. And the Denver Broncos won a game like 10-7. It was like the ugliest game ever. And the announcers were saying, like he's winning. The Denver is winning ugly. Like they're 7-2, right? And sometimes you just got to win ugly. You like the skin of your teeth.
Yeah. But those often feel more satisfying if you win by the skin of your teeth.
Right.
You had to go the
Yeah.
distance and you got it done.
Yes, exactly. It's like, yeah, sometimes, you win very, very, very smoothly, and you kind of have this feeling like, okay, I, I, I wasn't really with a partner, I won too easily, kind of thing. And then when you just squeak by, it's sort of like, whew, yeah, that was much more fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Plotkin has a tough challenge ahead of himself here. He's playing Isaac Chu. I wonder if Isaac has been sitting back preparing a little bit. Probably, if you ask me, he probably has been
Probably.
watching
Yeah.
how Plotkin plays his openings and probably has been
Mhm.
preparing a little bit. While Plotkin is coming in hot. That is also an advantage in and of itself, but I think No Chewy Candy, he's definitely the favorite here because he's a great Crazyhouse player. And he also, I believe, has the bullet skills to handle those time scrambles.
Yeah, well, those are two, in this format, those two skills are huge. One of the things that I'm really, it's so neat in Crazyhouse is the tactics. And usually, most especially, when you're absolutely on the back foot and you're getting killed. You're just getting killed. So you got to go for a desperado attack. And we saw it there with that knight f3 check. Like you're just getting killed. Knight h5 was too slow. And then suddenly the desperado attack works. Hey, that's so much fun. And the players are finding some really creative uh, tactics when their back is to the wall. So nice, and that's Crazyhouse. That makes it so much fun.
Absolutely. And we are off. We see Isaac playing with the white pieces. He opened up with 1e4 and Plotkin responding with the French defense that you're
And
not a
this
big
is
fan of. So let's see what Isaac is going to do.
No, don't get me wrong. I think the French defense is okay, but you cannot play it with c5. Like in this position, white should definitely be playing the move bishop to d3. And the idea is if you take twice on d4, I take on h7 and queen takes d4. And that slight weakening of the king is actually favorable for white. Like, I think that these positions are favorable for white. It's easy to put a pawn on f6 or you start with knight takes e4 type of thing. Here you go. Put a pawn on f6. Knight takes e4. He's doing it very, very well. And for me, these attacks play themselves, essentially. So here, knight to g5 looks the most tempting. Knight in hand to g5. He's done it. And this looks just over. It looks over to me.
Queen takes e5 even, giving yourself another pawn in hand with check.
That's
this
very,
should be
very
crushing.
useful.
Pawn at
Yeah.
g7 is always in the air, or even moving the queen back to g3. I know it's slow, but even those moves.
But nothing's wrong with knight takes e4, knight takes f6. This knight on e4 is hanging. Bishop takes f6, and as you say, queen back to g3. Go ahead, defend g7, but look at what you're down.
Right. You could even consider, by the way, yeah. So he goes queen g3.
So
By the way, we see sometimes white arrows on the screen. Those are his analysis. So he's looking at queen h4, and sometimes the black arrows are black's analysis. Knight h5, queen h4. there should be something, right?
You don't even need it at this point. I would have put a pawn on g4 instead of h6 and just said, look, you've got chronic weaknesses and I'm material ahead. I'm attacking with pieces in hand. So as white here, I'm playing moves like bishop f3 or knight g3. And I'm just saying, look, you can't defend this position. You just can't. It's too easy.
But he drops in with the knight. Okay, so what if that is taken? You would love a pawn, but he takes the queen threatening checkmate on h7.
Knight e7 check.
Oh.
Queen takes h5 check.
Oh, and
Pawn
pawn
to
g6. Wow.
And mate. Yeah. Again, that was one of those positions that Crazyhouse, you win out of the opening. It wasn't that black played badly, but you just saw what happened when white played queen takes d4. And the king was too weak.
Yeah, I gotta think that knight takes d4 was a mistake, allowing that whole sequence, drawing the king out of h7. You're
Yeah.
not even winning material, and your king is already being slightly drawn out to the open. So to me,
Precisely.
that looked bad. And so we
Yeah,
see
and it
game number
was.
2. We're having a
And by the way,
Sudoku piano.
this is I don't like the move knight a5, but this move king h8 is a very, very good move. Not because of rook g8, but because of knight g8. The king is remarkably safe when the knight is on g8, defending h6, and maybe on a good day preparing f5. I don't like the setup for black. It just strikes me as too darn passive.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, so we see h3, black going for the counterattack. But that h7 pawn is vulnerable. Like, if disaster happens, your king is actually stuck over there. All right, now is he
Yes.
going to pawn drop on h3? If h3 happens here, Yasser, does white just
I
take,
take
or
it.
what happens?
Take
You
it.
take it, yeah?
Because
You don't want to.
because
You don't want to face the infestation.
no. But the other nice thing is when you take on h3 in this exact position, the knight on h2 is doing a really nice job. It's like, thank you, I'm defending the g4 square. So it's sort of like, sweet, king takes h3. I've not lured any further forwards. Okay, here I would have found the move pawn to g3 just a little bit more. Sometimes the king is weak. Like I would find the move knight f4 right here very attractive, because the move
Right.
knight f4 to my mind defends h3, hits g6. Rook h1 is a pretty decent move, with the idea maybe to play knight f3. Ooh, look at this. This is nasty. f7 is mate.
Ooh, yes. So
f7
he
is
could have even queened. I honestly liked queen better, or queen now. Or
agreed.
does black have
Queen
any advantage?
now.
But then knight
No.
h4, like you said, maybe it's not a bad idea to throw in a defensive move from time to time.
Yeah. Here,
He
knight
takes
takes
the
f3 is
knight,
instant.
and queen takes. And your king is still
Yeah,
very
this
safe.
is yeah. And the really nice part is you're threatening queen takes e6.
Yes.
Queen takes e6. And that will threaten a checkmate with knight takes g6 as well.
Knight g5
So
on the board. Okay.
I would find myself drawn to queen takes e6. Isn't there a kill? Rook takes h7? It feels like there should be a kill.
Takes
Whoa.
c6. That feels a little greedy. But
Yeah.
black only has one knight in hand, and no good squares to drop it at.
Oh, well, then it's okay if that's all it is. But you could now that f7 is defended, you could take potentially on c8. But there's no really there's nothing to drop. Okay, f5.
There's got to be
Now
something.
bishop takes
Takes
g6.
g6. This is
Yeah. Knight.
queen takes, maybe even. I would take it to queen to be safe. Because if you take it to knight, there's rook takes h7 checkmate.
Yes, I agree. Queen takes f3 is very, very safe. Ooh,
This
the
one's
king is
less
wandering
safe.
a little bit. Starts to. Oh, that's a. When you have to make. Whoa! What? What the heck is going
Okay.
on?
Um,
Some strange play there by white. Queen,
this game is not over yet.
not at all. So bishop to no, excuse me. I was
Again,
about to play
I think
bishop
he
to e.
really should have gotten rid of that pawn on f3. Now, I feel like it's still anyone's game, but 20 seconds for no chewy candy.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. He's taken on g. So
Like it's a rook in hand.
sorry.
13 seconds.
King takes f3. No, he's
No, he's
just
running out of
that's it.
steam. That's
Yeah,
it.
he's
You don't
running
have
out
any
of
pieces. And he has no time.
no, exactly. Queen takes f5. Whoops. Knight mate.
Queen h7.
Mate.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So nice comeback by Plotkin to level up the score.
Okay, so black strategy in that game in Seattle, we call it seizing the defensive. King h8, rook g8, queen f8. In many, many crazy house games, that strategy is a winner.
Mm-hmm.
Keep your king super, super safe and then go after the other guys. In this case, the drawback to the strategy is sometimes your king, you've used so much material to defend your king, you don't have enough material to actually impose checkmate on the other side of the board. And that was what happened in that one.
Right. And I also
Okay,
just did not like the rook on g8 because I felt like that king on h8 was always stuck. The h7 pawn was always vulnerable. The f7 pawn was always vulnerable. So I guess to your point, if
agreed.
you go knight g8, you can potentially block with that knight on h6 and your f7 pawn is defended. But great game by
Precisely.
Plot, level up the score. So let's see what's going to happen here. What do you think about this one, Yasser, coming out of the opening? Looks nice for black, I would think.
I like black. I like black. I think that something has gone a little wrong here for white. And by the way, in those positions, your automatic move was to take with the rook, not with the bishop, but with the rook. Then you take on e6 with the knight, you win an exchange, but your bishop defends f5. So in this exact position, it's easy to imagine if white had some pawns, he could play this pawn to f5, right? I mean, it's still probably good for black, but rook takes e6 was more to the point, more pointed. Now, we're going to see a pawn coming to e6, but could white follow it up with a knight to d7? Oh. Pawn to e6, check.
So what does black do? King f8 or he goes king g8. White does not have a pawn to drop on f7. So maybe white's slightly running out of steam. He takes on g4, setting up the threat of f7.
Correct. So bishop f2, double check, rook takes d1, f7, but this should be winning for black.
Is there a
Rook
mate
takes,
here? I'm looking at knight a takes. Okay, f7, king h8, and maybe white just does not have enough.
exactly. And any knight that lands on f7, you're sacrificing your queen in a New York minute, as we would say.
Yeah.
And now it's a
Queen
force
at.
minute.
All right, so yeah, Isaac takes
Well,
the lead. It's Plotkin now is going to have to win a lot of games because first of all, he has to win this game to take the match to overtime, and
yeah,
then he would have to win the overtime, and then he would also have to win the next match. So he's got a very
exactly.
tough task ahead of him.
It's a challenge. Funnily enough, I didn't see
Oh.
Queen G3 mate. I was focused on Queen H1 mate in that last game. Yeah.
By the way, I stand corrected. Plotkin actually has the lead. he really has been surprising because I thought, coming out of the losers bracket against Isaac, who's won all of his matches, Isaac's going to be the big favorite, but Plotkin is having the lead. So let's see what will happen here. It's a must win for Isaac.
I was about to say the move pawn to e3 strikes me as wrong. Whoa, it worked out brilliantly. I was expecting instead of pawn to e3, pawn to h3. That's a very, very common, especially when the knight is on e5 and h3 is f3, pardon me, is potentially weak. But he got away with e3 followed by this current. Oh, this is just winning for black. This is a terrible move, knight to d4. Knight takes d4 and g3 check just wins.
He goes bishop c5. It looks too slow to me. Now white's,
G3 check
building.
wins. Yeah, this
feels
is
too slow to me what black is doing. Rook h1.
But the crazy part was
here?
why didn't he include bishop takes d4 before so he could threaten knight h3 check against rook h1? Okay. It's starting to look a little bit weird. Like, okay, I'm kind of getting confused by black's play.
Like having a lot of material in hand here.
Ooh.
Can he do anything with it?
There's a knight e7 check sighting. Oh, he's played it, sorry. At the moment, queen takes h6 is not a winning threat.
Yeah. I like black's chances. I feel like the king on h7 is very safe. Maybe just take on c6, and then you're gonna come in with an attack.
There is a knight.
Like a mistake. Oh, I like black here. Take on c6 now,
I do too.
White have made?
Because there's a knight d1 check. In the immortal words of Larry Christensen, getting you from behind.
I like this for black. This king on e3 is wide open. You have two knights in hand.
Yeah, and you have this beautiful. Yeah, this is winning for black, and you have this beautiful move, bishop g5 check. It's the type of move that just makes sure that you never have any. Oh, he should have played bishop g5 check and knight d5 check, because the bishop on g5 is magnificently defending everything, right? There's no cheapos here for. Nope, that's good enough. The knight g5 check it can be met by. Well, knight g5 check is still an issue, right?
But if I take. Wait, where's the mate for black?
Yeah, rook h5 check.
But that might have been an idea, because black did not have a lot of pieces to block. Wait, maybe
that's
now.
What I'm saying. I was thinking knight g5 check, rook h6 check, bishop g7 check. That was why I thought the bishop on g5 would be such a beautiful defensive piece. But maybe I'm just running out of material. Possibly. Okay, he's done it.
He's going for it. I think he had to. Wait, but what does black do here?
Take it. No, take on g7 wins.
Knight at h5. It's GG. Knight at h5. Oh, wait, is it made? Knight h5, king g6, queen g7,
rook h8.
Take. You don't have a rook anymore.
I don't have a rook. You're right. Whoa. Bishop.
Wow, this is crazy. This looks dangerous, but where is the actual checkmate after king takes h5? And the thing is, though,
yes,
okay, black is threatening some stuff like rook at h3. So, wow. Wait, but rook. That's mate. Yep. Wow. What a game by Isaac to level up this board.
But I agree with you that black had that great attack coming out of the opening, and white's king was super vulnerable. Nice game there.
All right, so now we're going to bullet overtime, 1 minute each. I don't know. I feel like Plotkin has played some great bullet chess, but Isaac is a really good bullet player as well. I feel like this one can go either way. And this will determine whether Isaac wins the championship outright or if we're going to have a reset.
Mm. Here we go. And they're off. So again, it's a kind of a French defense. They get here a different way with the pawn on c3. I like these positions for white, not because of the move f2, f3. I really want to emphasize that. Not because I'm really after that knight on e4. It's just that the pawn on the pawn on e5 makes it that much more difficult for black to defend his kingside. And in fact, there's no defending the kingside in this one. Look at this. This is just like massive control of the dark squares.
Bishop a3, that's a nice move.
Sweet.
All right, if you can somehow make inroads into the black position, maybe bishop, maybe take and knight at f6 looks pretty strong.
That's just crushing, actually. Now you're threatening check on f8. Well, you still check, don't you? Yeah. I was about to say, you just rook f8 and just, you just win. Now, rook to g8.
Checkmate.
Rook d8.
Check and bishop d8, that's it.
Nice. Very, very impressive.
All right, yes, and I believe we have a champion as Isaac wins in overtime, and I believe that's it. So he is our winner of today.
Congratulations, seriously. And at the very end there, again, one of those crazy house games where from the opening, you just saw, these weaknesses on the king side, and bang, 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 and nice victory. Congratulations.
Absolutely. And really that game that stood out to me was the game where he leveled up the score 2-2, because the game really could have gone either way, but he managed to persevere in the end. But overall, a very convincing run for him. He won all of his matches. He won, he won all of his matches in the winner's bracket and then also the final. But also, big shout out to Mark Plotkin, who came all the way back after losing the very first match in the winner's quarterfinals.
Yeah, so that was a nice journey for Plotkin as well.
Yeah, he had a great run, but unfortunately Isaac proved to be the slightly better player. But don't go anywhere, everyone, because we are going on a short break. But when we come back, we are going to be doing an interview with our winner, Isaac. So we will see you very soon.
Sounds good.
I met Anatoly Karpov, I think, in 1992. That was the first tournament I played with him. I was not a big fan of his style, to tell you the truth, because he was very positional, very slow, so it was not so exciting for me. And the first game I played with him in 92, it was in Madrid. We made a draw because he played with the black pieces. He was not such a fighter with the black pieces. It was a short draw. He was very kind, very pleasant. He won the tournament. I became number 2. And after that, there were endless encounters with him. It was very difficult for me to win because we had quite a few draws, especially when I was playing with the white pieces. When he played with white, he won a lot of games against me. It was always a huge battle. I had to learn, I had to grow up for that level and to understand and appreciate his style, which I did much later. And I think I won the first game against him in 98 in a rapid match, which I played in Budapest. And I won even not only a game, but also without losing any game. I won the match. And then later, in 2003, I believe, that was the breaking point when I started to win games with black and with white pieces as well. But I also got to know him more because he was visiting me at Nagymaros at our summer house for some time. And we had training sessions, which was very interesting seeing him already. Of course, he was doing many other things in his life, but how sharp he was still, how he was looking the positions, what vision he had. This is the most interesting with top players, that for them things are so natural, and then you say, wow. So I had these experiments with him when we were playing a lot of blitz, and we were talking a lot, analyzing some of the openings like Caro-Kann and also some other. So it was very interesting to be around him, to listen his stories from all times, also competing with him. He was always a player which he was fighting very much. He loves the game. He's so passionate about it that you feel this when you're around him. But he's not only passionate about chess, but he was also very passionate about card games or playing flipper. I saw him in Tilburg once and in many other places. So I can say that he was, of course, an amazing world champion for quite a long time. He's maybe the person who won the most amount of tournaments. So I appreciate a lot his chess and his career.
And welcome back, everyone, to the Chess.com Crazyhouse Championship. We are now joined by our winner, Isaac Chiu. So, Isaac, congratulations on winning the tournament. Did you consider yourself the favorite going into the event?
I did, yeah. I know there are like a lot of strong players that were playing in the qualifiers. I was kind of surprised to see a couple didn't make it. All of the competitors are really good, so I didn't expect it to be easy. And yeah, got a lot of really tough games. Yeah.
And Isaac, congratulations. It was really, really fun watching. And a couple of games came right down to what I would call a bullet brawl. Like, you had to play with seconds and pre-move. How do you keep your nerve during those moments?
I was glad I wasn't in two like random time scrambles. I think it was getting down to the final seconds a couple of times, but it wasn't just, random pre-moves, games decided by like who can move their mask faster, So I think in that respect it was pretty clean.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I just like to play a lot of bullet. And it's just kind of at least it's a little bit easier for me to make the first move that I see, I guess.
That's how you practice, because I was really impressed when it does become random like that players are so skilled to get in like 5 moves in a second. It's just great. It's amazing.
Yeah. I saw some crazy time scrambles.
Nice.
Absolutely. And I wanted to ask you, Isaac, so you, of course, had to wait in the grand final for quite a while who your opponent was going to be. As you were watching the semifinal, were you doing any preparation for Plotkin as he was making his way through?
Well, I did a lot of preparation beforehand, but I mostly checked games against Crazy8 and against Guillermo, because I know that those guys have really dangerous openings. And Plotkin is just, he's a speed demon. He's like a really talented player, but he doesn't look at openings all that much, so I didn't really prepare for him. And he seemed to be getting really good openings against me. So, maybe I should have looked at something beforehand, but I was mostly just preparing for Crazy8. Yeah, Plotkin did well to make it to the final.
Yeah, in Crazyhouse, the openings I think are a specialty, and you really have to be incredibly well prepared. I think the French defense where Black plays c5, I just consider that unplayable. How about you?
Yeah, I saw that. That Plotkin tried it once. I actually faced it a couple of times in the qualifiers, and I didn't really get a great position out of it. So I think it's like a decent try for Black to get something unexplored. I don't think that, when you weaken c7 and d6 like that, I don't think it's like immediately exploitable, So I think it's a decent try. I did actually check that a little bit during the break in case Plotkin played that against me.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. He ended up choosing some other line that worked much better than that would have. So
Yeah. But again, I just think there's some openings, that one for me, unplayable, but there are others. Like, I didn't see many Sicilians today, but for some reason, people still like Sicilian. Like, for me, that's just, no, not going there.
Yeah. It's really tough because White just has such a big advantage that, the people who try to put in time to exploit that advantage with the computer are just going to have a huge leg up on the competition. And I think I prepared my openings well. Some might say that it's kind of unfortunate that the game has come down to a lot of memorization rather than your ability to play the middle game. But, if the engines are there, you have to use them. So,
whatever makes you a better player, and definitely, and you're a very, very worthy champion. So congratulations again, Isaac.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, you did fantastic. And we have a few questions from our community. For example, we have here one from G1975. He's asking, do you prefer Crazyhouse or Bughouse, and why?
I really like Bughouse. Crazy House just feels a little bit too lopsided with the white advantage. It just feels like since Bughouse is one white, there's one black, you get that social aspect of talking to your partner, maybe even to your opponents if you're all together in the same room or if you're all in the same call together. I just think Bughouse is a lot more fun, a lot more possibilities, a lot more balanced. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah. So, do you have any more questions for Isaac?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were actually going to go through a whole list of the community. I just wanted to say I agree with you wholeheartedly, Isaac, that the balance between black and white and playing Bughouse and the social interactions just make Bughouse a lot more fun. And I think that for Crazyhouse players especially, the advantage of white is pretty strong, much more so
Mhm.
than in just regular chess. So yeah,
Oh yeah,
somehow
I agree.
the initiative is great. Wow, yeah, great fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
We better have one more question from the community. Yeah, a couple of them. So, Chuckle Magne is asking, when are we going to bring Crazy House grudge matches to the world at large? Elimination match tournaments with 5-0 games, first to 33 wins, and draws don't count. Is that something you see happening, Isaac?
Hmm. I don't think so. I mean, obviously, I would really like it if there were just tournaments everywhere. But I think that, if Crazy House got a little bit more popular, that would sort of lead to the game dying off, I think, in the long run, because people would just start looking at everything with their computers, and then no one would really be playing on their own anymore. So, um, I would really like if it became popular because then, I could profit, but um at the same time, I like that it's just niche enough that people haven't completely killed it with the engine.
Well, just let me play the devil's advocate for you there. Definitely preparation is huge and openings, but I saw,
Mhm.
seriously, Isaac, a lot of creativity by yourself and your opponents in the middle game and even in the late stages as well. Great preparation will take you far, but I think what you showed
Mhm.
is a real understanding of a lot of different positions, and your approach was genuine, generally, I think, right on. So, I would like
Yeah,
to
thank
see,
you.
yeah, I'd like to see a lot more tournaments. And if it gets popular, I think you're going to really enjoy yourself because it's fun. It is fun. It is fun.
Oh yeah,
And
I agree. I agree. There are a lot of ups and downs. I don't think White was completely smoking every game. I still like
exactly.
that there's a lot of room for a comeback. There's a lot of room for the better player to show off their skills. Um,
Right.
so yeah, I mean, that's why I like to play this game.
Yeah. And
And
why you're so good.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like Crazy House is just such a rich game that even if you do get the advantage with white, it's really difficult to prove it against a good player, right? They're always able to
Oh yeah.
make a
Oh
comeback.
yeah.
At least that's how I always felt when playing.
Mm.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
All right, I have one more community question for you, Isaac. It's from Chuck Moulton. He's asking,
Okay.
what does Chewy think of 960 Crazy House? Would it make the game more unpredictable and fun? What do you think?
Well, I'm a big 960 hater. I never watch any 960 chess. I would never play 960. I wouldn't play Crazy House if it started becoming 960. I just hate it. Eh, it just feels like, 960 is trying to be chess, but it just can never be chess. So I think to answer the question, I think that some of the 960 positions may actually be even more unbalanced for whites than the initial starting position is right now. I don't know that there's a configuration of pieces that would sort of reduce the white advantage to nothing. So I don't know that 960 would help. And even if it did, I probably wouldn't play it. But
Mm.
yeah, it's definitely something to think about.
I never heard that Isaac put like 960 hater, but I remember a very nice story told to me by Artur Yusupov. Artur and I, close friends, that we go back to our World Junior Championship days. We were playing in Mainz in one of the earliest Fisher Random tournaments. And I said, Archer, what do you think about this Fisher Random? And he looked at me and he said, yes, sir. It's very sad that we have to save chess by ruining the starting position.
Yeah. Mhm.
So he was hating
I think
before you.
Yeah, I think a common, complaint about chess is that there are too many draws. But really don't think that even top level chess, certainly not the chess that I play, is ruined by draws at all. Like it's still really rich, really creative, just like Crazy House. And I don't think that 960 is, you know, a solution to avoid the draw death of the game.
Well said. And I think, especially for American audiences, American sports fans, seriously, it's not a joke.
Mhm.
We always have decisive games. The Super Bowl, American football. There's always, like people are playing always to win. Basketball, and we have these overtime. So we've always got to have a winner. And when a really beautiful, fantastic game of chess ends in a draw, I think a lot of chess players say, "Oh, that was great. That was a wonderful game." And yet the audience is like, "Who won? A stinking tie."
Yeah,
No
yeah.
fair. No fair. We don't want no stinking ties.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So we're a little bit spoiled here in America in terms of, wanting always there to be a decisive outcome. And chess, a
Mhm.
good game of chess, well, should be drawn.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree with both of you. I think the game of chess and also, by the way, Crazy House was a lot of fun to follow today. But I think the game of chess definitely has a lot of beauty to it, and I don't think we should switch it up by changing the opening position. But unfortunately, we are going to be wrapping up for today. Yasser, it
Yeah.
was great commentating alongside of you. Also want to thank everyone in all of our viewers. And of course, congratulations to Isaac. You played fantastic. You entertained us with all the great chess today. So what are your last words as we close out the show?
Thank you for having me. Great event. I hope Chess.com continues to run these variant tournaments because I think it does a good job bringing players and audience members something new and exciting to watch. So yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Congratulations again,
Absolutely.
Isaac.
Congratulations once again. And
Thank you.
on that note, we wrap up for today. Once again, thanks everyone for watching. And make sure to tune in tomorrow as we cover the FIDE World Cup in India. See you then.